A grotesque wall, old wooden furniture creaking, and flies occasionally buzzing through the vent. I even felt envious of these insects. A fly buzzed in, targeted by a hand. Two hands clapped together, creating a resounding smack. The boy stared at the dead fly in his hand, then carefully stuck out his tongue to taste it. After a moment of tasting, his face scrunched up. Disgusting. This is Min, the main character of the story, making his debut by tasting a fly, perhaps to answer anyone curious about what flies taste like. Min was standing in the middle of a sealed room, lit by a single yellow lamp overhead, with basic furniture like a bed, a wardrobe, and a desk. He used a cloth to silently wipe away the traces of the fly. His skin was pale, his eyes thoughtful. I've spent my whole life in this bunker, under this dim yellow light. The pen moved continuously, recording unspoken thoughts on the page. One day, when I escape this miserable place, I'll be able to introduce myself the way I'm writing now. Usually, people introduce themselves starting with their name. Here, the hand holding the pen trembled slightly, pausing. His eyes glanced at the photo on the table. But since no one ever gave me a name, I don't know it. But I must have a name, right? A name my mother should have given me. In the photo was a family of 3 standing in a lush green garden. Even though I was separated from my mother right after I was born, in the photo, his mother was holding him. His eyes focused on the small woman in a blue dress, holding a baby wrapped in a diaper, smiling sweetly. Seeing that smile, his own face brightened. I can see she must have loved me very much. She's dead. A man with a long, gaunt face, curly red hair, and glasses with a thick chain spoke without opening his mouth. He stood right behind Min, whispering into his ear. Your mother. Min flinched and turned around, asking what he meant. The man straightened up, his eyes hidden behind his glasses. Your mother jumped right after pushing you away, amidst the enemy's maniacal laughter. Min's eyes filled with hatred. He bit his lip and clenched the pen tightly, enduring. This man, the other person in the photo on the table, was his father. He was also the crazy old man who had locked him here, so he could never escape. The two were now facing each other in a cramped bunker. The only entrance was fitted with sturdy iron bars. Looking out from the room, one could see an iron door and another layer of iron bars for protection. But that wasn't all. The exit was a long underground corridor with various doors and locks, all the keys in his father's possession. The keychain hung from his belt, as if to taunt him and remind him that he could never escape this place. The man opened his mouth. Don't worry, I'll never let you go outside. Then he wondered aloud why Min's mother decided to jump. Min frowned, waiting. The man reached for a biscuit, suddenly thrusting it close to Min's face, then crushing it in his hand. A cold voice rang out. It's because she was afraid of the very world she lived in. Min's eyes widened, staring at the biscuit in his father's hand, crumbled like the earth due to his selfishness and tyranny. Your mother knew the apocalypse was coming. To his son's hateful gaze, the man responded with the arrogant look of a superior. So, I'm keeping you here out of love. I can't let my son commit suicide. Min's whole body trembled, his clenched fists resting on his lap, his voice trembling too. You're lying. My mother died because she was afraid of the apocalypse? Don't talk about my mother like that. You think I'll believe you? You lied about the apocalypse and locked me here. The man glanced at a notebook on the table. Believe it or not, it's up to you. But as the open notebook was picked up, he lit a match. The autobiography you're writing will never see the light of day. Min, horrified, reached out to stop him. What are you doing? Don't. But he couldn't prevent the flames from consuming each page of the diary, leaving only a pile of ashes. Min clutched the trash can, choked with emotion. Someone like you has no right to be called a father. The man's shoulders shook with laughter. Oh, don't say that. I do everything for you. Follow me, it's time. Min's eyes, full of hatred, followed his father's footsteps. At the same time, every day, they always walked through this corridor. The ventilation fan ran, creating a deafening noise. Of course, there were no signs of other living creatures here. My father and I were the only ones living in this vast bunker. After walking down the long, winding corridor, chalk dust fell with his father's every movement as he wrote on the blackboard. It was the same every day, the exact same lessons, the exact same training. Min's eyes lit up, a smile playing on his lips as he stealthily took out a book from under the table. The only thing that got me through those dreary days was the free time I had to read in the library. Although the library had many books, my favorite was the one about the world outside. Whenever he read it, Min would often daydream, reaching his hand towards the lamp, imagining it as the sun, trying to feel its warmth. I don't know what touching sunlight, as described in books, would feel like. Perhaps much warmer than this bunker lamp. He imagined the ground beneath his feet turning into a lush green meadow, himself running freely. I want to experience peaceful days, admire beautiful scenery, talk to people I want to, maybe even make friends with them. But more than anything, the first thing I need to do after escaping. Just then, a heavy boot kicked straight at Min's face. Both he and the table were knocked backward. His father stood against the light, his face entirely in shadow, only his glasses glinting. He snatched the book, leaving Min lying there, and sternly reminded him, I told you to only read this book during your free time. This is a book about the surface world. He smirked. Poor thing, still longing for the outside world, are you? He stood there, looking at his only son lying face down on the ground, uttering cruel words. I've told you, you'll never get to the surface. When the apocalypse comes, the world will only be filled with screams and a sea of blood. In the end, everything will just be dust. Looking at his father's expression as he spoke, it seems you still haven't realized that this bunker is the only way for you to survive, accompanied by a smile as if he had done something truly great. Min gritted his teeth. There it is again, that lie about some damn apocalypse. Just because of that, he locked me here for my whole life and continues to physically torture me. Min's eyes showed a thirst for freedom, trapped behind the iron bars. He clenched his fists, silently vowing, I will escape this prison at any cost. He pushed himself up, facing his father's indifferent expression. But now is not the time. His eyes, blazing with determination. I need to wait for the right moment, staring at the keychain hanging from his father's belt for when he was careless and defenseless. Heavy breathing echoed throughout the bunker. Min's whole body was sweating from push-ups. His father stood beside him, supervising. Tired already just from that? You can't survive the apocalypse with this kind of physique. You've only done. Good heavens. Min was doing push-ups with a mountain of weights stacked on his back, and his old man was still scornfully saying he'd only done 10. Good Lord, a normal person couldn't do this, old man. Min's arms trembled and then collapsed. The weights scattered everywhere. His father just stood there, watching without reacting. Min, exhausted, was trying to push himself up when a hand reached out. For the first time, his father acted like a father. Looking at his calm face, Min was both suspicious, why are you helping me? And placed his hand in that warm one. But he was met with a sharp tug and a jolt that sobered him up. His father pulled his arm while simultaneously sweeping his leg. I never said I intended to help you. This sent Min tumbling, rolling several times on the ground, his body flipping over and crashing into a large mirror propped against the wall. What expression was hidden in his father's eyes behind those lenses when he did that? If someone offers you a hand, don't trust them. His father's voice was cold and stern. You must be absolutely wary of people, especially during the apocalypse. He glanced at the weights scattered on the floor and the broken mirror. Rarely did he explain. That's why I train you and teach you combat techniques. You must adopt the stance of an enemy right before you. When you're forced to confront others, you must be strong enough to survive barehanded. Because he stopped here, seeing Min lying motionless in the broken glass. But he didn't approach to check, still standing motionless, muttering, you probably can't hear me. Too weak. I didn't expect you to pass out from just that. Let's end it here for today. He turned and walked away, the keychain on his hip clinking with every step. Min's eyes flashed, glancing at his father's retreating back. Carelessness. He silently sat up, gripping a shard of glass. The moment I've always waited for. Aiming straight for the nape of his father's neck, he accelerated, ran, then leaped high, attacking with determination. When my father lets his guard down, I will kill him, take the keys, and escape. The mid-air movement was both fast and powerful. Seeing the target just ahead, Min's eyes lit up with certainty. It's working. The sharp glass shard flew closer and closer to his father's head, and the opponent was completely unaware. This plan had only one flaw. My father was someone who never let his guard down. Just as the opportunity was about to become reality, his father's eyes caught an unusual glint of light. At his feet, it was the lamplight reflecting off the glass shard in Min's hand. At the decisive moment, his father whipped around, facing Min's panicked eyes. His father's expression showed no fear, perhaps even a hint of excitement. Min gritted his teeth and thrust the glass shard down hard. His father, like an eel, dodged it. While Min was still wide-eyed in astonishment, his father had already pivoted and delivered a kick that made everything in front of Min go dark. When he startled awake again, he found himself on his familiar bed. Water dripped from the ceiling, plink plink. Min was horrified when he heard a voice. You're finally awake. That was a good try. His father entered from outside the bars, showing no anger. Your attack, he said, examining Min's weapon. But I told you if you don't use your bare hands, all the training is meaningless. His lips curled into a sinister smile. So, the punishment for using a weapon is that you have to train twice as hard. Min shivered slightly upon hearing this punishment. The iron door was locked with a tiny key. His father coldly departed, not forgetting to remind him, rest now. Tomorrow will be tough. Footsteps echoed in the long, narrow corridor before the lights were turned off. Min looked up at the device mounted on the wall. I know something my father doesn't. When he turns off the lights, the power in the room will go out for a moment, and all noise will disappear. At that moment, I focus and hear things I've never known. Min pressed his ear against the bunker wall, carefully sensing distant sounds, the turning of wheels, birdsong, and even the bustle of a crowded city. From that, I learned two truths. My father said it was bedtime, but in reality, on the surface, it was daytime. When the bunker lights went out, that's when the sun rose. And the second truth, the earth is actually very peaceful. Min pensively recalled his father's demeanor when he spoke of the coming apocalypse. But that was just a lie to lock me underground. He looked at the small window in the iron door, then back at his mother's image in the photo. Min was determined, and then I will find Mom. His father always said Mom was dead, but now Min knew he was just lying. I think there's a hidden meaning in what he said. His hand on the blanket tightened. Min believed his mother was still alive. Thinking this, he quietly pulled the blanket over himself and went to sleep, hoping that one day he would escape and find his mother at all costs. The motion sensor light in the corridor lit up with his father's every step. The smile on his lips vanished, and his steps also halted when the phone in his pocket rang. His father's face was stunned, anxious. From his expression, one could guess the caller was a formidable figure. He was forced to answer the call. As soon as he picked up, the person on the other end questioned, "Why did I tell you not to contact me unless it's an emergency?" While Min was sound asleep, his father stood alone in the long corridor, incessantly conversing with the caller. After a long while, the two finally reached an agreement. All right, let him live. The phone was thrown to the ground. It was unknown what had caused him to collapse, trembling. Approaching closer, one could even hear a quivering sound emanating from his throat. A bizarre laugh woke Min. As soon as he opened his eyes, he saw his old man smirking, emitting strange, guttural sounds. His entire being exuded a dark aura. Min was curious. This is strange. What's going on? He tried to stand up, only to realize he was tightly bound to a chair with ropes. "I'm tied up." Then he shouted, "What are you doing? Let me go right now." Seeing his father still standing there, muttering, Min gritted his teeth. He's not listening. Fine, then I'll slowly untie myself. As he thought this, both hands strained, pulling at the ropes. After a while, the rope showed many frayed spots. It's working. The rope had gradually loosened. His joy was extinguished as a shadow fell over his face. Unbeknownst to him, his father was towering before him, opening his mouth. "Stop that." The utterly emotionless voice made Min freeze. He silently swallowed, trying to persuade him. "You said today's training would be twice as hard. Don't you remember?" The expression in his father's eyes remained unchanged. "The plan has changed." Looking down to confirm Min was still tightly bound, he continued, "Today, we do nothing." He even emphasized, "No, not just today, but from now on, you will do nothing except sit in that chair." Min's eyes widened, unable to accept this. He roared in anger. "What are you saying? You said you'd train me to survive the apocalypse. If you keep me tied up, I won't be able to." His father yelled, cutting him off. "Training is over." Min gritted his teeth, silently wondering, why did he suddenly change his mind? "I can't do anything if I stay tied up like this. I won't have a chance to meet Mom." Thinking of the woman with the sweet smile in the photo gave him more motivation. He continued to struggle. His father looked bewildered. "What are you doing?" Due to the exertion, Min's teeth clenched together. The rope loosened a bit more. His father stared at him blankly for a moment, then slowly approached to verify, and then began to laugh hysterically. Min, sweating, looked up at his father's demonic, laughing face. With terrifying speed, his father lunged. Min could only watch, wide-eyed, as the devastating blow landed, sending both him and the chair crashing to the ground. Slow footsteps approached, setting him upright again, reminding him, "I told you not to move." His father's face, silhouetted against the light, was completely dark. Min gritted his teeth, enduring, not uttering a sound of pain, his eyes full of defiance. Once again, he struggled, trying to free himself from the ropes, only to receive another powerful kick to the chest. His father still stood there, cruelly emitting maniacal sounds. The more force is used to suppress the will to resist, the stronger it becomes. Min tried to wriggle free from the ropes. Each time, he received a brutal blow from his father. This repeated over and over. The falls made the glass of water on the table vibrate. The light in the corridor flickered. I don't know what was wrong with me back then. Perhaps just pretending to agree while waiting for another chance would have been more reasonable. But at that moment, I didn't want to lose to him, even if it cost me my life. My resentment towards my father, the one who imprisoned me and forced me to live in suffering, grew stronger. When the ropes came loose, I felt an unprecedented excitement. I was curious what the face of my ever-contemptuous father would look like when I punched him. Having shed the ropes, Min smiled triumphantly, receiving his father's punch. I thought my father would be furious, but something was very different. What I saw before me were the tears that had always been swallowed back, behind the eyes of a sorrowful man. Why are you doing this now?" Before losing consciousness from that punch, Min heard him whisper again, "I hope you will understand." Under the yellow lamp in the room with the green blackboard and desk, he emphasized each word. "Remember, among the survival tips I taught you." Min sat up straight, listening intently. "The most important is rule number one. Rule number one for surviving the apocalypse. Never leave the bunker." His father's mouth opened and closed continuously. "There is no safer place than here. Thousands of mechanisms can preserve it for 126 years. Plenty of food and resources are here. Everything has been prepared. Leaving is like committing suicide by jumping into a fiery pit. The apocalypse will come for us at any time, so you must not leave this bunker. Never." Min slowly emerged from the dream, finding himself still lying on the ground, disoriented, in the empty room. When I regained consciousness, Father had disappeared and left me behind. This had never happened before. The only time Father disappeared was when I went to sleep. Recalling his father's terrified expression yesterday, I can confirm that Father's strange behavior yesterday definitely meant something was wrong. He sat, knees hugged to his chest, leaning against the wall, listening to time pass, lost in thought. From the repetitive life in the bunker to the current situation, I still don't understand. But intuitively, I know something big is about to happen, and following my instincts is the right choice. Suddenly, all the iron doors simultaneously swung open automatically. Seeing the wide-open, long, dark passage, Min's eyes lit up. Without hesitation, he pushed himself up and ran forward, not looking back once. Because this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Father would stop me from escaping, but he's not here. An entire vast underground system with various functional rooms. Yet only a small figure was running with all his might, desperate to escape. Finally, he reached the end of the corridor. Looking up, he saw a long series of iron steps leading straight up. There it is. Min climbed the iron steps, his eyes filled with determination and longing. Please, seeing the tiny sliver of light through the hatch cover, Min silently prayed, let that light be sunlight. He reached out and pushed open the hatch. A strong, warm yellow light flooded his eyes, making it impossible for him to open them. For the first time, his feet stood on the ground, his whole body bathed in dazzling sunlight. Min's eyes slowly adjusted to the natural light. His eyes widened in astonishment, filled with boundless joy as he saw tall buildings, cars, and pedestrians on both sides of the street. Standing in the middle of a bustling street, with traffic moving busily on both sides, amidst all sorts of lively sounds, Min still couldn't believe it. I did it. I really did it. Behind him, a beer-bellied man called out, Hey kid. The man's car was parked right behind him. Seeing Min standing dazedly in the middle of the road, he asked with concern, What are you doing in the middle of the road? Min whipped around, exclaiming, It's a real person. It's really a person. This made the beer-bellied man frown, thinking, What's wrong with this kid? Did he hit his head somewhere? The moment of joy passed, and Min grew quiet, thinking, Now is not the time. I just escaped. I can't let my guard down. Father will find out I'm missing and chase after me. He started running again. For now, I have to run as far away from that bunker as possible. His pace quickened, his face joyful, heading towards the sunlight. I've dreamed of this moment my whole life. Escaping the bunker and experiencing freedom for the first time. Just a moment ago, escaping seemed almost impossible. I couldn't even imagine it, even if the door suddenly opened. Thinking this, his steps slowed down, then stopped completely. He was both hesitant and puzzled. But why? Why did it open? Was it a security system malfunction? No. Father is meticulous. He wouldn't make such a mistake. What if opening the bunker door was Father's intention? Thinking of that cold face, Min shook his head in denial. No, it can't be. The one who created the rule, do not leave the bunker. Ignoring his imprisoning father, he looked towards the vibrant outside world. People were happily eating, drinking, chatting, and loving each other. Seeing those happy smiles of all ages, Min's eyes showed a look of longing. Then, with determination, That's right. Everything Father said was a lie. The scenes unfolding before my eyes, kids coming home from school, playing together, are proof of that. Outside this bunker, the world is truly peaceful. A flock of pigeons flapped their wings and flew. Two girls chatted. A red balloon, its string broken, floated freely in the air. A young man was enjoying a hot cup of tea. These vivid images filled Min's vision. He followed the floating balloon as it perfectly obscured the sun. He became even more certain. Indeed, the coming apocalypse is absurd. The sounds of laughter, combined with all the other noisy sounds, suddenly became distorted. For some reason, Min thought of his father's teaching. The apocalypse will find us without warning. Suddenly, the flock of pigeons flapped their wings erratically, as if disoriented. Everyone on the street seemed to be paused, looking up at the sky. The sun, momentarily hidden by the balloon, was now completely obscured by a terrifyingly large, brown, circular object. The children, with their backpacks, stared wide-eyed. Viewed from outer space, that circular object was many times larger than Earth. It was extending a small, sharp tendril towards Earth. These tendrils seemed to be made of hundreds of thousands of sharp, colored threads. They wriggled and intertwined into a spiral shape, then elongated. People stood up, curious, watching it get closer. What is that? I don't know. It's not the moon, right? What? The moon? Can't you see? What are you saying? That's strange. The more Min looked, the more horrified his expression became. That source of brilliant yellow light in the sky suddenly transformed into the glowing eyes of a grotesque monster with a mouth full of sharp teeth. Min was terrified as he saw more and more monsters being born from that sphere. They wriggled and crawled over each other, moving with incredible speed and in horrifying numbers, and intertwined into a giant drill, hurtling straight down towards the city. His father's warning echoed in his mind. Never leave the bunker. This is the most basic rule for your survival. But there is one exception. If the bunker's location is compromised, or if there is danger, this rule number 1 will be nullified. The first place the monsters landed was the entrance to the bunker that Min had just escaped from. The first arm of a monster had just touched the bunker door. Like flipping a switch, other monsters immediately swarmed down into the bunker like a disturbed hive. Sensing the illegal intrusion, the automatic control panel on the wall displayed a remote command. Lock door. The monsters thundered past the device, roaring. The faces of the onlookers shifted from curiosity to pale horror, forgetting even to run. The horde of bizarrely shaped monsters descended like a tornado. This unbelievable sight froze everyone, making them dare not even breathe. In an instant, one of them was dragged away by countless tentacles at dizzying speed, screaming, his eyes wide and staring. The tentacles flicked, and the man flew straight into a large, fanged mouth that gaped open like a demon's. Everyone stared, transfixed. The man's glasses, broken in two, flew off along with his blonde head, which rolled to their feet. Only upon seeing this clearly did the crowd begin to react, comprehending what was happening. They screamed in terror, pushing and shoving as they fled. What is that? Get out of the way. Everything happened too quickly. Some people, like the young man wearing headphones enjoying his favorite tune, didn't even know what hit them when a black, veined, and deeply grooved object fell on them, crushing them flat. An orange monster pounced, grabbing the mass, then continued to swing its arm, launching countless similar projectiles into the chaotic crowd. Simultaneously, a hairy monster leaped forward, swiping its claws, cutting nearby people in half. Faceless monsters, with only a golden glow on their heads, relentlessly slaughtered humans. The gruesome sight and their bizarre forms made many freeze to death on the spot. Amidst the chaotic crowd, Min still stood stunned, his body trembling, his perception collapsing as he witnessed everything. A vibrant, peaceful city had, in an instant, turned into a scene of death and chaos. People urged each other, "Quick, call the police. It's no use, something's wrong with the phones." Only then did Min truly understand what his father had said. When the apocalypse comes, the world will only have screams and a sea of blood. In the end, all will be dust. A colossal monster stood towering. One of its footsteps crushed a building. Humans were tiny before them, able to do nothing but scream and watch helplessly as trees swayed, the ground cracked, and buildings crumbled under the giant monster steps. The countdown to zero had begun. The apocalypse had started. Monsters poured down from above onto the city like a waterfall. Min stumbled, then got up and ran again. Though he didn't want to, he had to admit his father was right. The apocalypse had arrived. Did that mean his mother was dead? Was that also true? The monsters behind them covered everything in their path, group after group of people caught and slaughtered. Min's flailing hand was grabbed by a firm arm. His father's cold face appeared. Without a word, he pulled Min, forcing him to run forward. Min was astonished. "Why are you here?" The street was filled with screams and gasps of exhaustion. His father didn't answer, merely urging, "Run faster, don't stop." As he ran, Min glanced back and saw the monsters flooding the streets like a deluge, tearing apart every human they caught, and he was terrified. Ahead was a turn. He followed his father, but a horde of monsters swarmed out from an alley, blocking their way. There are monsters there too. His father quickly changed direction. This way, the two ran against the chaotic crowd, heading toward the bridge. Here, people were still calling the police, pleading for help. "Save me," but very quickly, the monsters swarmed down here too. One by one, people were ensnared by them, stabbed by their claws, and then devoured. Men ran harder while others stopped, calling to each other, "Hurry, everyone!" In that mere instant, they were overwhelmed by the swarming monsters. The road leading up to the bridge was now occupied by only father and son. The goal was just ahead. Glancing at the monsters pouring out from every nook and cranny and the sea of people screaming as they were bitten and torn, Min worried. "At this rate, they'll catch us." His father yelled, "Shut up and run. This is the only way out of this city." The bridge was choked with a long line of abandoned cars on both sides. The monsters arrived, destroying everything they touched. Their roaring grew closer, terrifying Min. They writhed together, flowing over the ground like water. His father looked back, warning Min, "The monsters are chasing us to the bridge." In that moment of distraction, Min's whole body suddenly stiffened, immobilized, bewildered as his ankle was caught by the tentacle of a monster climbing up from the side of the bridge. It squeezed his calf, causing him immense pain. "If I don't get out." Just then, his father returned, carrying a large rock, aiming straight for the tentacle and smashing it down hard, making the creature retract its appendage and fall. His father coldly watched his son, who was in pain, clutching his leg and plopping down onto the road. "Damn it, my leg." The bridge suddenly shook, unable to bear the immense weight. Father and son looked at each other. The monsters, like a storm, had swarmed onto the bridge. Min, trembling, stood up and continued to run. "I have to get off this bridge quickly." But his injured calf made him limp, and the monster's speed didn't slow. The more he ran, the more he realized the distance between himself and the monsters was rapidly shrinking. No matter how he ran, he couldn't escape them. His knees buckled, and he collapsed. Fear and the pain in his leg made him want to give up. He looked up at the man in front of him, then silently lowered his head, hopeless. Go on. I can't run anymore. If you go alone, you can escape." Listening to the heavy footsteps hitting the pavement, Min remembered. From his earliest memories until now, countless times his father had also turned his back and left him alone. It must be a mistake. "That's right, just run. You always leave me like this." Seeing a shadow on the ground moving towards him, Min was astonished. His father reached out, bent down, and asked, "Why aren't you getting up?" Only then did Min look up, his wide, bewildered eyes meeting his father's. "What?" The louder he spoke, the more he tried to hide his inner emotions. "Why aren't you running?" "Even if I run, I can't get far." His father replied with absolute certainty. "You can't survive because I have a plan." Min hesitated. "What?" "No way. A plan." He looked at the road ahead, then back at his father's resolute face. He gritted his teeth as the image of his father's sorrowful face flashed through his mind, then reached out and placed his hand in that large, warm one. He was pulled sharply backward. As they passed each other, his father just said, "Run." Lipping as he ran, Min looked back. "Wait, you haven't told me the plan yet." He was surprised to find something in his hand. He was about to open it to see when his father, standing behind, reminded him, "There's no time. Get across the bridge, quickly." Min put away his curiosity. "Got it." He continued running, not daring to slack off even for a glance. Alone, he passed one abandoned car, after another on the bridge. Finally, he saw land on the other side. His pace quickened until he saw dark, staggering figures pouring down from both sides. He stared warily, then turned to see the bridge's suspension cables had snapped. The bridge tower was swaying. His pupils dilated fully. The sound of cracking concrete reached him. In an instant, the entire bridge had broken in two, collapsing right before his eyes, taking the dense swarm of monsters down into the abyss. Min stood there alone, his face bewildered, panting and calling out, "Dad." He stood there, stunned, his mouth agape, forgetting even to close it. What happened? Why the bridge? Could it be? He thought of his father's earlier words. "You can survive because I have a plan." Looking down at the broken section of the bridge, the plan he mentioned. Was this it? A questioning voice arose. "Why? Why do you have to go so far? You tortured me my whole life. So why now?" His legs trembled as if all strength had been drained, and he collapsed onto the broken bridge, his hands clutching the pavement, his face full of resentment. "I survived, but now what? What am I living for? Everything I ever dreamed about life on the surface has vanished. A peaceful life, the beauty of the earth, has just turned into death and desolation." Min gritted his teeth. "And my only remaining goal." The image of the woman in the photo from the bunker was now also being consumed by the flames of despair in his heart. Tears streamed down his face, his voice trembling. "I want to ask why you did that, just to save me." Remembering the only warmth he had just felt on the bridge, his tears fell even more heavily. "How am I supposed to live in this hell now?" He sobbed like an abandoned, lost child. Remembering that warm handshake, he stopped crying, looking down at his hand, which was tightly clutching the object his father had placed there. His fingers slowly uncurled, revealing a piece of paper. The more he looked at it, the wider his pupils dilated, his negative emotions subsiding. He calmed himself, sitting up. A grotesque hand gripped the road surface. Glancing over, he saw a monster with two glowing eyes climbing up from the abyss. Terrified, it crawled up. Min scrambled to his feet, dragging his injured leg, and hobbled to the side, clinging to the bridge railing to stand. He looked down, then glanced at the monster that was now standing menacingly on the road. Without hesitation, he decided to jump. The monster also smashed the bridge railing and leaped after him. Min fell backward, rolling a few times on the ground. The massive monster landed with a thud beside him. Min's limbs trembled, going limp. "I can't. Stunt. My strength is at rock bottom." He watched the monster lumbering to its feet, its two eyes glowing fiercely. "No way I can escape that monster." He despaired, thinking, "This is probably how I die." He gritted his teeth, unwilling to give up, looking again at the paper in his palm. "But I thought I had nothing left." Teardrops, large as peas, born of a desperate will to live, fell onto the paper bearing the words, "Your mother is still alive." His hand trembled. "Why are you telling me this now?" The spiking monster was upon him. Min slowly stood up straight, facing the monster many times his size, with the strength of belief and will. "I want to live. I won't give up, and I'll try everything to survive and find Mom." Confronting the monster's appearance made him anxious, but it seemed impossible. Just then, his father's teachings echoed in his head. Once the apocalypse happens, humans won't be able to survive because they lack the strength or knowledge for self-preservation. Even if they could survive, they couldn't escape the dangers lurking day after day out there. Facing the charging monster, Min's expression shifted rapidly from bewilderment to resentment, then to fear. He released his fear by yelling into the void. "Then if that happens, how am I supposed to survive? If what you said is true, then I can't do anything but accept death." In that perilous moment, as the monster's arm reached for him, his father's calm, cold image seemed to appear beside him, reminding him, "Have you forgotten everything I taught you?" This jolted him awake, remembering all the training during his confinement. His pupils widened, clearly reflecting the monster's fist. At the crucial moment, he swiftly dodged and leaped back. The monster, carried by inertia, slid forward forcefully. The dust settled, and Min stood firm. The monster looked back, opened its mouth, and roared, making Min tremble. His father's teachings echoed in his ear like a guiding compass. "You are different from ordinary people. The biggest difference between you and them is that you know how to survive." Though scared, Min scanned his surroundings for a chance to live. His eyes focused on a sharp object protruding from the ground. He took a deep breath to calm his body, spread his legs wide for a firm stance, his eyes resolute, ready to face the monster's attack. When it punched, he ducked low, dodging, and slid in the opposite direction, grabbing the sharp object he had spotted earlier and yanking it out. Everything I've accumulated until now. Training, experience, and survival knowledge. He attacked, aiming straight for the monster's nape. As it turned and swung its arm, it had already leaped onto its head, switched his grip on the weapon, flipped, and pierced the monster's head. He had executed it exactly as his father had taught. Do everything you can and survive the apocalypse. Apocalypse. The city was desolate and ruined. After a sweep, the monsters had left, with only a few scattered ones remaining in various dilapidated corners of the city. There were still lucky survivors gathered in a ruined bunker. Everyone's face was gaunt, their spirits low. Someone spoke up. It's been 4 days. Shouldn't the army be doing something? We're lucky to have found shelter here, but food is about to run out. We'll have to get out of here soon. After speaking, she glanced at the person next to her. The ruined bunker was blocked on all 4 sides by rubble. Her voice rang out again. Don't you want to say anything? But if we just keep waiting like this, something will surely happen. Hey, someone else interrupted. The girl looked towards that person. Huh, what is it? The person replied. Kid, why don't you stop? You're making everyone uncomfortable. The girl was puzzled. Why? I wasn't talking that loud. The man frowned, rubbing his temples. Facing the girl's gaze, he tried to explain. That's not what I meant. He stopped mid-sentence. I'll forget it. He turned on his heel, looked around, and sighed. I'm about to lose my mind. Haru, standing nearby with her long blonde hair, suddenly spoke up, sorry, catching his attention. Then she asked, Kid, have you checked that area yet? She replied, I did, but I couldn't find any food. His reply held a hint of disappointment. Oh, I see. If you want to stay here, we have to find some way to get food. Haru paused thoughtfully, then suggested, There's one place I haven't checked yet. I'll go check it again now, so don't give up yet. The man smiled. Thank you, which surprised Haru. Looking at the haggard faces in the room, he said, Everyone's exhausted from keeping watch for monsters, so no one is willing to help. You're the only one so enthusiastic. You're really amazing, kid. Praised. She shook her head in embarrassment. No, I'm not that great. He raised his hand in encouragement. Keep trying. I hope you can get everyone out of here safely. Then he walked away, leaving her. Standing there, stunned. Sunlight streamed in from outside. Haru walked over to a young man and a girl who were sitting, their mouths making mm sounds as they chewed food. Haru asked, Did you guys find any food around here? They looked at each other, then the girl reached out and took out a paper bag of food. Yeah, we found this in the rubble. Haru smiled. Oh, really? I didn't expect that. The woman tore open the paper bag. To Haru's astonishment, wait a minute. The other two had already divided and stuffed all the food into their mouths, chewing greedily. Haru was angry. What are you two doing? We agreed to share with everyone if we found food. The girl wiped her mouth. That's what those boring people said. We never said that. Haru questioned. But yesterday you also ate the food that was shared. The young man scratched his chin, his face nonchalant. Oh, really? I don't remember. She gritted her teeth in anger. If so, I'll report you. The young man stood up, his face blank, glaring defiantly. Try it. You think we'll just stand by and watch? Haru swallowed dryly. It's pointless. You can't catch me anyway. The only thing I'm good at is running. He smirked, taking a step as if to act, when a terrible scream came from distance. The two trembled. He fearfully turned and asked, Was that a scream just now? The girl reassured him, Yeah, I heard it too, but it's far from here. We'll be fine. The young man silently sweated. Right? Phew, that was close. His eyes caught sight of Haru, collapsed on the ground, covering her ears, her whole body shaking. He sneered. Weren't you talking big just now? You're just useless. Try running on those trembling legs. Haru sighed after searching all morning and only finding one packet of rice cakes. The man, who had been looking around, spotted her returning and exclaimed, You're back, kid. Have you checked over there? Haru replied, Yes. His eyes lit up with anticipation. And Haru clutched the packet of rice cakes in her pocket, hesitating. Well, I didn't find anything. Her face was downcast with shame when she heard him say without any blame, Oh, really? Not too surprising. It's okay. The important thing is that we're still alive. As long as we're alive, we can always find more food. A monster dropped from above, landing right behind him. Screams and thick smoke erupted. When things returned to normal, only Haru was left, sitting on the ground, her face half hidden behind her pale hair, her whole body trembling as she looked at the man pinned beneath the monster. His eyes, filled with fear, reached out to her, pleading, Help me. Haru turned and ran. I'm sorry. He asked in horror, Why? Haru gritted her teeth and didn't stop. I told you, I'm not a good person. Then she ran and disappeared. The two who had been secretly eating earlier were also rushing away. The girl glanced behind her. Damn it, where did that monster come from? The young man beside her reminded her, Don't look back. His eyes lit up when he saw the blonde girl from before running frantically ahead. In the distance, there was a giant monster. There's one over there too. The girl looked at Haru, calculating. It's okay. If she gets caught, we can use her as bait. We can escape. That idiot. She's running straight towards a monster. The giant shadow of the monster blocked the road. Only then did Haru come to her senses and see the monster. Countless tentacles shot out like lightning. She didn't stop, her eyes wide open, her body agilely tumbling and dodging all its attacks. The other two stared in amazement as Haru easily passed the monster, her long bangs flying, revealing a long scar on her forehead. They just stood there dumbfounded, watching her run quickly away, remembering her words, "The only thing I'm good at is running." Their faces turned ashen as the monster attacked them. The young man's voice cried out, "No way. Was she telling the truth?" A long series of terrible screams echoed. In a corner, Haru leaned against a wall, slowly sliding down to sit on the ground, panting, wiping sweat from her forehead. Maybe I escaped. She glanced over and saw Min sitting motionless beside her. Startled, she gently touched his shoulder, and he fell to the ground, groaning. Haru thought, "He's alive." Looking up, she saw a three-headed monster in the distance, and fearfully pressed herself against the wall. Did it hear? She glanced at the monster making terrifying sounds, then at Min, unconscious on the ground. Haru grabbed his collar and pulled his whole body behind the wall, hiding from the monster. The monster's sounds faded into the distance. Haru thought, "It must be gone for real this time." She sighed in relief. Phew, survived. As she bent down, she came face to face with Min's wide-open eyes. Haru's jaw dropped as, in a flash, Min had jumped far away, his whole body on high alert, staring at her. "Who are you? What do you want with me?" Haru was dumbfounded, not expecting this guy to change state so quickly. In Min's head, his father's warning echoed. "No matter when, you must not forget to stay away from people." Therefore, his gaze towards her was also full of hostility. Haru retorted, "What do you mean? If I hadn't hidden you, that monster could have found you. Father taught me to never trust humans. They only want to use you and kill you." Thinking this, Min gritted his teeth. If Father is right, then I won't be able to survive long if I get close to humans because they are cunning creatures. He opened his mouth. "How can I trust you?" As soon as he finished speaking, he collapsed face down on the ground, leaving Haru bewildered. "What the?" He trembled, utterly drained of strength. "Damn it, so hungry. The last time I ate something was probably 5 days ago in that bunker. I can't take it anymore. I rested for long periods to save whatever strength I had. Who would have thought I'd run into a human now?" Haru looked and immediately knew his condition. So she said, "First, I don't have anything to eat." Min was bewildered. "What are you talking about?" "I didn't ask." Haru waved her hand. "It's just that you look hungry, so I'm just answering in advance so you don't have to ask." Suddenly, the rice cake fell out of her pocket. Haru froze, staring at the rice cake. Min was curious. "What is that?" Haru was flustered. "This is..." She looked at the rice cake without taking her eyes off it, biting her lip, clutching her stomach. "What did that person just drop? I don't know what this is, but it seems the more I look at it, the hungrier I get. Could it be?" Haru froze when she heard him ask, "Is that food?" Then she nonchalantly replied, "No." Min stroked his chin. Then I must be mistaken." She forced a laugh. "What are you talking about? This isn't food, ha!" Internally, she rejoiced. "I can't believe he can't tell what food is. That kid must be an idiot. Maybe I can change the subject." Min, radiating killing intent, said, "Liar. You think I'll believe what a human says?" Haru's eyes widened while Min continued to ramble. "If you think I believe what you say, you're wrong, because clearly everything humans say is a lie." Haru clutched her head, blaming herself internally. "I was wrong. He's even stupider than I thought." Seeing his reaction, Min calculated. "Now I'm sure. Her reaction means that thing is food. I need that food. If she doesn't cooperate, I'll have to use force." But his plan had no chance to be implemented because she had already proactively shared the food with him. "Here, exactly half. I can't give you any more. You look really hungry, so I'm giving this just to you." Min took the piece of rice cake, silently wondering. Why is she sharing? Doesn't she know that if she shares food with me, her portion will decrease, and she'll be at a disadvantage? Haru held up 4 fingers. "But you'll have to pay me back 4 times as much, okay?" "Okay, don't you dare forget it, 4 times. So she's doing this for a reason." He complied, "I understand." While eating the rice cake, he concluded, "Humans truly are cunning creatures." After finishing, seeing him leave, she curiously asked, "Where are you going?" Min turned back and replied, "Since I'm done eating, I'm leaving now." "Humans?" Haru followed behind. "What? Where do you think you're going in this situation?" "This is my neighborhood, so I know it well. I'm sure there's nowhere else to go because monsters have surrounded it." Min suddenly stopped, causing her to bump her nose into his back. "Ouch, why did you suddenly?" Min turned around. "You know this place well?" Haru nodded. "Yeah, because I grew up in this area." Min asked, "If that's the case, do you know where the subway is?" Under the sun, amidst the ruined buildings, 2 small figures carefully moved along the street. Haru, annoyed, wondered to herself, how did I end up guiding this idiot anyway? If I'd known, I wouldn't have shared my bread with him back then. But thinking back when she asked, "For what damn reason do you want to go to the subway station?" he had replied, "Because it's safe there. It has a concentration of goods we need to survive. There's a route we can use to move without monsters seeing us. And more importantly, it's very difficult for monsters to detect humans in the subway." Min's finger pointed downwards, his eyes resolute. Haru, while leading the way, mused, He's truly a strange kid. He talks as if he knows something, especially since, at first, he didn't even recognize it was bread. We're here. Haru frantically searched around. I'm sure it's somewhere around here. Min from behind doubted. Are you sure it's here? I'm sure I heard the subway is underground. I knew it. You were trying to trick me, weren't you? These foolish words infuriated Haru. Anyone can see this isn't the subway. I'm trying to find the entrance here. Wait here a bit. If I go out there, I'll definitely find it. Just as she turned, a gaunt man's face loomed enlarged right beside her. Haru, terrified, clamped her mouth shut to keep from screaming. Hongbyum spoke. I came here because I sensed something, but I didn't realize it was real people talking. Then asked, who are you? Byum raised an eyebrow, criticizing. You speak very disrespectfully, young man. We'll introduce ourselves later. Follow me. Haru curiously asked. Where are we going? Byum turned back. Weren't you looking for it? It's right here. The two followed him through a ruined passage to an elevator leading down to the subway. Min was astonished at the crowded scene inside. Haru exclaimed, wow, there's so many people here too. I didn't expect everyone to be hiding here. People down here were gathered in groups, talking. Byum reminisced. I can never forget that time. Who would have thought monsters would appear without a single warning? In a flash, the entire city was invaded by monsters. People pushed each other, running. At that moment, I knew there would be nowhere to run because monsters were everywhere. But luckily, I found a place to hide. When I followed those running people, finding this place could only be luck. Sometimes I go to the surface to find medicine, but I haven't accidentally met anyone besides you two. Min, wary, glanced around, assessing his surroundings. Initially, I planned to build a base at this subway station, but there are more humans here than I thought. I can see all sorts of people. Those without any resistance, trapped in despair. I'm definitely going to die here for sure. Those monsters will find me here. And those who show their cunning, deceitful nature to others. Hey, get out of the way. And there's a strange person I can't read, wearing a hat and a coat that covers their face, sitting silently in a corner. The more humans there are, the more risks. However, none of them seem capable of endangering me. Instinctively, I can detect danger like those monsters on the surface and my father. But among these people, I don't sense any danger. Perhaps I should stay here temporarily, because none of them can harm me, even if they decide to become my enemies. Byum cleared his throat. So, shall we introduce ourselves? My name is Hong Byum. As you can see, I'm a doctor. I was looking for medicine on the surface when I met you two. I didn't find much, but Min remained motionless. Haru looked at him, then clapped her hands and spoke up. Then, I'll introduce myself first. My name is Haru. Byum praised. That's a beautiful name. Judging by your uniform, you're a student at virtual high school, right? Haru replied, yes, that's right. You know my school? Byum smiled. Of course. My hospital is across the street, opposite the school, next to the shopping center. Haru silently doubted. There's a hospital there? Byum's gaze shifted to Min beside him, looking him up and down. But your clothes. His eyes looked at Min with pity. Forgive me if I say something foolish, but you must have suffered a lot. Anyway, what's your name? Remembering the pages of his diary, he replied, name? I don't have one. Before everyone's astonished faces, Min repeated, I've never had a name. Byum propped his chin, thinking, then smiled. You can tell me next time. I hope you'll tell me when you think we've become closer. A red-haired man called out loudly. Sir, I think things have gotten worse. The three of them followed the red-haired man to a blonde-haired man injured in the abdomen. The pain made him tremble. Sir, you're here. Byum's eyes stared at the blood-soaked gauze. Just as I thought, the wound has worsened. We temporarily stopped the bleeding last time, but it seems the wound is worsening faster than I thought. Now, if we don't operate on you, your life will be in danger, because the wound is infected. Byum opened his white coat, which was filled with medical supplies, and made a decision. We have to operate immediately. I'll disinfect the wound. Min watched his busy figure, pondering. A doctor. I secretly read a book from father, and it mentioned doctors, a profession that cures illnesses for money. If that's the case, then now, during the apocalypse, he suddenly asked, what will you accept instead of money to treat him? 6 eyes turned towards him. Byum looked at the dejected patient, his preparations not stopping. Accept what? Do I necessarily have to receive something to treat people? A doctor's job is to treat the injured. Before starting the surgery, Byum didn't forget to encourage. Don't worry, because I've never failed a single surgery. The patient looked at him, then emotionally hugged Byum. Thank you, sir. You saved my life. Thank you. Min was skeptical. I don't understand why he's helping him. Helping without expecting anything in return? Are humans that stupid? Or do they really do such things for others? Byum smiled gently. Hee. Be careful, or the wound will bleed more heavily. The blond man rested his head on his shoulder, tears welling up. Thank you so much, sir. As he pulled back, he saw the name tag, Veterinarian Hong Byum, on his left chest, and his expression turned dazed. When he heard Byum instruct, all right, let's begin. It might hurt a little, but bear with it. The blond man, horrified, cried, wait, please take this off. Byum turned his back, took out a scalpel. I can't do that, because if you move while I'm operating on you, there'll be bad news. The blond man screamed, wait a minute, you're a veterinarian. Can you really perform surgery? BM smiled confidently. Of course I can, because basically humans are animals too. As if seeing a monster, the blonde man screamed desperately. Let me go. BM reassured. Calm down, young man. If you keep thrashing around like that, it's dangerous. Your condition will worsen. I need anesthetic. The red-haired man replied. We don't have anything like that. BM picked up a brick from the ground. Oh, here we go. And then he just kicked the brick towards him, ignoring the others' pleas. Please spare me. Min, seeing this scene, his thoughts returned to his initial conclusion. I must have been wrong. Humans are very dangerous. He sat in a corner, letting out a breath. Finally, some quiet. I made the right decision to leave that place. There's no reason for me to pay attention to that scene. He looked up, then down at the crumpled photo in his hand. Now, what? The only thing I have is the photo father left me, a photo from when I was a baby, and the note on the back saying mom is still alive. That's it. I don't have enough clues to find mom anymore. But whenever I look at this photo, I feel a sense of unease because the scenery in this photo contains strange, alien-like flowers. Flowers with thick brown stems and small, slender leaves growing low to the ground. Even when I was in the bunker, I found it strange, so I looked in books about flowers to learn more, but I couldn't find any information about the flower in the photo. If that flower only grows in specific locations or environments, I might be able to find out where the photo was taken. To do that, I first need to find someone who can identify that flower for me. A fly buzzed past. This photo is the only clue I have. I need to make sure I don't lose it. Without even looking, he could swat the fly dead. Looking at the fly in his hand, he stuck out his tongue to taste it again and grimaced. Flies on the surface and in the bunker taste no different. I'll need to ask everyone if anyone recognizes this flower. In a room under the subway, everyone was herded together. A subordinate reported to a man in a black coat who was standing with his back turned. Boss, I've gathered everyone. The boss turned his head, revealing a hideous scar on his cheek. Let's begin. Bring everyone here. If they refuse, use any. Means you want. People were bewildered. Hey, why are we gathered here? I have something to say. This is getting boring. A young man with curly hair loudly questioned. Why did you make us gather here? Do you have the right to force us without an explanation? Are you listening to me? The boss just glared, which terrified the curly-haired man. He approached step by step. I can see deep into a person's mind. I can sense what thoughts they're hiding. I can tell from their eyes. Through the curly-haired man's wide-open pupils, he could indeed see the other's inner self cowering in fear, hiding it by acting tough. The curly-haired man broke out in a cold sweat, backing away step by step. Don't come near. Then he screamed desperately as the boss's fist slammed into his stomach, along with the declaration. But before me, it always reveals itself. The curly-haired man was not flying. The people on either side watched, no one stepping in to help. He stepped forward, smirking, and grabbed the curly-haired man by the collar. That's right. This is what I want to see. Show me more. The curly-haired man at this point was like a caged animal, all his thoughts seen through by the other. The boss laughed ferociously. Your true form, deep in your soul. Punch after punch rained down. The curly-haired man lay flattened on the ground, begging, stop, don't hit me anymore. A subordinate from behind reported, Boss, it seems a few people aren't here. He whipped around. What? She listed an old man, a kid, a brat, and an injured person. He used a cloth to wipe blood from the back of his hand. I'm sure I told you to gather everyone. So what happened? She thought of the man with hair like a horse's mane and explained that area was given to the gangster, but he didn't listen and suddenly disappeared. He contorted his face, eyes narrowing. Gangster? That punk. We never controlled him. All right, I'll do it myself then. I want to see their faces when I find them. Watching his retreating back, she asked, Boss, what about this guy? Upon hearing the other's command, tie him up and throw him out. The curly-haired man was terrified. What? You can't. I'll do anything you ask. But the boss was unmoved, his eyes glinting as he walked forward. Min crawled up from the ground. Did I doze off? I haven't been able to rest well for days because I had to guard against monsters. As he opened his eyes, he found himself in a long, dark tunnel. He was bewildered. Where am I? He raised his hand to pat his head. As he moved his foot, he noticed the difference in the surface beneath. I'm stepping down, but I can't feel the ground. Is this place trying to swallow me? Sweat dripped from his eyes. No, I might have been swallowed already. A mass of threads pierced through the falling sweat drop, which was suspended and wrapped tightly around his body. The more he tried to run, the tighter it wrapped, soon encasing him completely. He woke with a start, breathing rapidly. Looking at his surroundings, he was relieved. It was a dream, but it was too real. He opened his eyes and saw 3 people in front of him. Who are you? The boss glared. You have 2 minutes. If you don't reach the center of this station, you'll be kicked out of this place. The blonde man beside him chimed in. You better go. Something's going to happen here. Seeing him stand up obediently, the boss smirked contemptuously. I was wondering who was hiding, but it seems my expectations were in vain. A cold voice rang out. Are you planning to kick me out? Which startled the boss. Min rubbed his aching neck, bowing his head, feeling as if hundreds of people were staring at him with vicious eyes, ready to attack from behind. His blue pupils widened as he asked again, what kind? The blonde man raised an eyebrow. What? You crazy brat. The boss smirked, full of excitement. No, this is fun. Look at me. He looked straight into Min's eyes. Show me your true form. The thing you're hiding in those eyes. But through those eyes, he saw nothing, only pitch black. The blonde man found it strange and asked, "Boss, what's wrong?" "Not forgetting to threaten Min. You're in trouble. You should have left when we came to warn you." Min opened his mouth. 2 minutes? No, 2 seconds is more than enough to take you guys down. The blonde man clutched his stomach, laughing loudly. Just like the boss said, this guy is hilarious. He pulled out a hidden dagger. "So this is your will?" He was about to charge when a hand grabbed his shoulder, stopping him. Min's eyes widened in shock, quickly thrusting his hand into his trouser pocket, searching. "Wait, where's my photo?" The opponent held up something. "Are you looking for this?" The blonde man crumpled the photo, sneering. "I didn't expect to find anything valuable on you. All I found was this stupid photo." Min exuded a deadly aura. "If that photo has a single scratch, I'll kill you." The boss took the photo back from his subordinate's hand, held it between 2 hands, and raised it threateningly. "Come closer, and I'll tear this photo to shreds." Min clutched his head, enduring punch after punch from the blonde man, hearing him taunt. "Where's your confidence gone? This photo must mean a lot to you, huh?" Min gritted his teeth, blaming himself. "Damn it, I was too careless. I can't believe I lost the photo while I was sleeping. I knew humans were more dangerous than monsters." Tired of hitting, the blonde man turned back and asked, "Boss, what do we do with this guy now? We're definitely kicking him out, right?" The boss looked at the writing on the back of the photo, his expression dazed. "No." The blonde man wondered why. He said, "When I first looked into his eyes, he was completely different from everyone else. His inner self is so deep that I can't see anything. We'll monitor him. I'll let you hold on to this photo. Remember carefully, while you're watching him, don't drop the photo." The blonde man was unconvinced. "For a kid, why do we have to do so much?" The boss growled, "That's my order." He had no choice but to bow his head. "Yes, boss." The blonde man remembered Min's earlier killing intent and grinned sinisterly. "Now that you mention it, when the kid tried to attack me, I was a little scared too. But what does that matter anymore?" He ordered, "Can you smile for me?" Confident that as long as he held the photo, this kid wouldn't dare do anything. Haru approached, standing at a distance, and yelled, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" The boss turned around. "The other one is here. Saves me the trouble of looking." Haru broke out in a cold sweat, pointing to her own eyes. "Excuse me, sir, were you looking for me?" His voice was cold. "Report to the station center." This made Haru's face turn pale with fear. The blonde man, holding the photo, swaggered away. "Hope to see you again next time, kid. I'll take good care of this for you." Haru looked towards her new acquaintance, who was sitting with his head bowed, and extended her hand, asking, "Are you okay?" But Min coldly pushed it away. Haru gritted her teeth in anger. "Hey, what did I do? I was just trying to wake you up." Min pushed himself up, his eyes hostile. "I don't need your help. Get lost, mortal." Haru pointed at her own eyes. "My name is not Mortal. I told you it's Haru. Say it right." Min brushed past her, sneering. "Honestly, do I need to remember something like that?" Grandpa Min, for no reason, took his anger out on the poor girl. The two stood on either side of the veterinarian, both scowling. BM glanced left and right. "Haru, is there something between you and this boy?" She snapped, "No. I'm an idiot for trying to talk to someone who doesn't know how to communicate." Hearing this tone, Dr. BM mistakenly thought, "So there is something." Min, meanwhile, puffed out his cheeks contemptuously. "Why should I hold hands with a human, of all things?" His father's words echoed in his head. "If someone offers you a hand, never trust them. Humans are your enemy." His eyes darted to the red-haired man sitting cross-legged on the railing. "That's the guy holding my photo. It'll be hard to get it back by force. Even if he tears my photo when I approach, piecing it back together will still give me enough clues to find her. However, I still don't want to damage it." His hand at his side clenched. "That's the only thing that came with me from the bunker. There's no reason for it to be torn. I just need to wait for the right moment when he takes his hand off the photo." The boss spoke up. "Everyone's here, so let's begin." He sat at the top of the escalator, his subordinates standing on either side, armed. "You'll be given 2 choices. Follow me or oppose me. If you choose to follow me, you'll have no reason to worry about being kicked out of here, like that punk over there." He pointed to the curly-haired man who had been beaten earlier, now tied up tightly like a spring roll, as an example. He was trying to cause chaos at Gata, the only nearby shelter, so I decided to kick him out. Before Haru's and the doctor's wide eyes, the boss continued, "If you choose to be on my side, at least you won't be considered a reactionary trying to disrupt the order here." At this moment, the red-haired man, having gone up the escalator, was now closer to the surface. Min stared at him. "I won't use force to make you follow me. But if you intend to follow me, remember that my word is absolute." People looked at each other, then began to move one by one. No one dared to resist. The patient from earlier exchanged a look with BM, then followed the crowd to the boss's side. BM watched them leave, understanding their mentality to some extent. The strong rule the weak. In a world without laws, it's not strange for things to turn out like this. Even if you don't force me to follow you, it's still manipulation, because otherwise, I'll be treated like the guy who's about to be kicked out. Choosing that side is the most logical option if you want to live longer. However, BM smirked, adjusting the tie on his neck, full of confidence, and walked against the crowd. If you live a long life, acting unpredictably sometimes isn't so bad. If I join that side, I might not be able to help a patient when they really need it, so I'll stay on this side, even if I'm alone. Harusai echoed. BM looked down in surprise. Aren't you going over, kid? Seeing the girl's dazed look, BM quickly pushed her shoulder, urging, hurry up and go over there. If you think you can stay here, you're a bit foolish. Haru smiled, pointing behind her. But uncle, I don't think I'm the only fool here. What does that mean? BM slowly turned around and saw another group of people, some standing, some lying haphazardly, also staying on this side, not crossing over. A girl with glasses nervously wrung her hands, saying a long, rambling, pointless speech. Why isn't there? Even me, I wasn't planning to stay here. Damn it. Have you all understood? We're done for. Those guys will be watching us. Our fate is to be captured and tortured. Her finger pointed to the men with clubs standing guard outside the door. Someone from behind encouraged. No way. It's not that bad. The girl with glasses, her face suddenly radiant, turned back. No. The black-haired girl propped her chin, wondering, it won't be as bad as being tortured. Won't they just leave us to starve to death or throw us out as food for monsters? The girl with glasses froze, then clutched her head and screamed, I knew it. We're screwed. BM was suddenly bumped hard by a little girl wearing a red bow. A man in a fishing vest and glasses quickly caught the little girl, sternly reminding her, Kid, you can't run around like that. Then he turned to the doctor, expressing, I'm sorry, sir. I should have held onto her tighter. BM smiled, bending down to look at the adorable little girl. It's okay. She's at the age where she runs around. Kid, listen to your dad, okay? The little girl mumbled something. BM couldn't hear clearly and asked again, I couldn't hear what you said. The little girl looked up, her face furious. He's not my dad. As she spoke, she jumped up and headbutted BM right in the face, looking feisty. My dad is somewhere else. He's probably looking for Mom and me. The young man with glasses watched the little girl turn her back in a huff and explained, To be honest, she's not my child. We just happened to meet on the road. It seems she got separated from her parents since we met. So, until we find her parents, I'm trying to be her guardian. The two men standing at the door were discussing something. The one with a mustache glanced at Min's indifferent expression and said, You kid, you're not allowed to cross here. The boss said so. Anyone who leaves the room will be severely punished. Min's expression remained unfazed as he heard their threats. The other one, holding a club, glared, So don't think you'll be an exception just because you're young. Right now, Min's mind was solely focused on the hateful image of the blonde man holding his family photo. Where is that bastard? Elsewhere, canned goods and drinking water were stacked on a table. People lined up on both sides, waiting for the man in the suit to finish his rambling. All right, take your share. You'll be checked to make sure you don't take too much. The girl with glasses received a bottle of water and a can of food, questioning, What? Why do we only get this much? You can clearly see the difference compared to those other people. The man in the suit explained, It's the boss's orders. Besides, you guys are just staying in that room anyway. Do you really need to eat that much? This made the girl grit her teeth in anger. A fragrant aroma wafted through the air, tickling the nose of a muscular man who was sleeping. His closed eyes snapped open. Feather Duster sat bolt upright. I smell something delicious. Is it his time? Two subordinates, having finished their task, stood chatting. The rice is distributed. Anyway, do you know that person? Ooh, the one called the boss's left-hand man. That person looks very dangerous. Just at this moment, Feather Duster walked over, overhearing the comments about himself. The other two, oblivious, continued animatedly. His nickname is Feather Duster. He doesn't listen to the boss and often goes off on his own. But I think there's still a reason he's called the boss's left-hand man. He kills people mercilessly while still smiling, or something like that. In short, he's very brutal. Really, don't mess with him, not even accidentally. If you piss him off even a little, people say you'd be better off eaten by monsters. As Feather Duster stepped into the hallway, a tray of food was knocked onto him. The little girl fell to the ground, tears welling up, but before she could cry, she saw the clothes of the person in front of her covered in food. Feather Duster chuckled like a boogeyman. Well, little one, running around here is very dangerous, isn't it? My clothes are like this now. The little girl looked at her spilled food on the ground, tears streaming, her mouth pouting. Feather Duster changed his mind and said, Come with me. The other two, who had been chattering, were stunned. Look over there. That's Feather Duster leading a little girl. The two whispered, No way. Is the next victim that child? He's as brutal as the rumors say. To think he'd torture that little one. Seeing the other's face loom larger, the two broke out in a cold sweat. But why is he coming out here? Feather Duster opened his mouth, his eyes wide and staring. Hey you, making the man in the suit hold his breath. Yes, sir. Feather Duster pointed to the dejected little girl beside him. It's nothing. Give the kid her portion. He replied. Yes, but one person only gets one portion. Feather Duster's face darkened. Then give her my portion too. He obediently presented 2 cans of food and a bottle of water to the little girl. Seeing the food, the little girl's eyes lit up. The man in the suit, confused, silently speculated. Why did he give the kid his portion? I get it. Is this the torture by food? I've heard rumors about, annoying the child while giving her food. So cruel, yet so persistent. At this moment, in his thoughts, Feather Duster's face was no different from a demon's. The sound of hurried footsteps approached. The man with glasses grabbed the little girl's shoulders. Quick, get behind Uncle. But in the end, the big, burly uncle hid behind a child, peeking his head out to question, what are you doing to the little girl? Feather Duster rolled his eyes. You have a problem with what I'm doing? The man with glasses retorted just as sharply. You despicable villains. Now let's go home quickly. And just like that, he pulled the little girl away. Feather Duster stared blankly as the little girl left. His lips pursed in a slight smile. Outside, there was another guard. The black-haired girl just wondered, are there more guards now? Haru, watching, said, I think so too. Min, furious, thought, damn it, should I leave to find that bastard? His gaze met Haru's. Remembering that cold flick of his hand, Haru quickly looked away, her cheeks puffed out, still sulking. Late at night, when everyone was fast asleep, the black-haired girl sat up. She saw Min sitting in a corner, arms crossed, head resting on his knees, asleep. She gently approached, reaching out to touch his shoulder. Her face contorted in pain as he tightly gripped her arm. Looking at his alert face, she asked, what's this? Are you still awake? Min didn't answer, instead asking, what are you doing? I know it. You were planning to attack me while I was asleep, right? The black-haired girl forced a smile. Why is this kid so strong? That hurts, kid. What are you talking about? I just want to talk a bit. He relaxed his guard. Talk. She clutched her still sore arm. What's wrong? You act like you've never talked to anyone before. He was silent for a moment, then snapped. Whether I've ever talked to anyone before is none of your business. Before the other could react, he had already pushed her hand away and continued. Forget it. Let's get straight to the point. She sat down beside him, maintaining a certain distance. Now that I think about it, why are you always so distant from everyone? Ah, is it because you're a very shy person? Hearing this assessment, Min glared. What nonsense are you spouting? There's no reason for me to befriend the enemy. She was puzzled. Enemy? He replied clearly. That's right. To me, all humans are enemies. What reason do I have to befriend people who might stab me in the back when I turn around? She gently replied. But I have no intention of harming you. He glanced at her. I don't believe you. You could be lying. The sound of their conversation reached the others who were resting. Well, I have no objection if you're wary of me. Can you make peace with Haru? Make peace? If you're talking about that blonde human, I've never fought with her. She was delighted. Is that so? So you can get along with her, right? He sighed. That's a different matter. She's still human. To me, she's no different from the people guarding the door. She hesitated, looking at the trembling figure in the distance. That child. She thinks no one hears her, but she cries herself to sleep every night. Maybe there's something heartbreaking that she hasn't had the courage to talk about yet. Well, everyone in this bunker is like that. But that's all there is to it. If a kid your age could get along with her, it would be better, wouldn't it? He spoke up. Ridiculous. Sadness is something only weak people indulge in. If you have time for that, you'd be better off thinking of another plan to escape. She suddenly asked, have you ever been sad about losing someone important? He thought of that final handshake, the collapsed bridge, and the glasses with the thick chain. His voice was firm. No, and I never will, because I don't have anyone important. Not sad, because there's no one important. Her voice was gentle. That sounds a bit lonely, doesn't it? As if you're all alone in a dark space. She encouraged, but it's okay. If you die, I'll be sad for you. He glanced at her. Very funny. I'll never die, and I won't care if you die. She smiled cheerfully. So cold. She covered her mouth, not daring to sneeze loudly for fear of waking everyone. She stood up. Have I talked too much? I won't bother you anymore. Sweet dreams. He didn't reply, continuing to cross his arms, silently assessing what a strange person. The blonde girl, who had been pretending to sleep to eavesdrop, let out a breath and told herself, just try to sleep. Min leaned back against the wall, frustrated. So I've been here for 4 days. Before, I thought this was just a resting place, but someone has taken my mother's photo hostage, so now I can't go look for my mother anymore. The blonde man, leading 2 subordinates, smirked sinisterly, holding out the photo threateningly, not allowing Min to resist, sitting still as they beat him. Min clutched his head. Do you guys find this fun? The blonde man grinned gleefully. Not fun at all. We don't want to do this either. This is punishment. Punishment? Because you left the room without permission last time. Min opened his mouth, taunting. So why don't you come here and punish me? Put that photo down and come here. The blonde man, furious, thought, this little brat, isn't he scared at all? He doesn't even care. He's just looking at that photo. Are you looking down on me? You can still talk tough like that? It seems the current punishment isn't enough for you. Father said before that humans are inherently evil. Now I understand that saying. Min stood up. Damn it. The black-haired girl was startled. What? Are they going to do that again? Min walked past everyone, but of course, not everyone here was like that. Biam, his voice worried, said, fortunately, your wound isn't too big, but just in case, you should disinfect it first. Min didn't care, still walking straight to his spot. That's fine. Just as he sat down, a portion of food was placed in front of him. The black-haired girl said, this is lunch. I got it for you too, since I didn't know when you'd be back. Min took it. Oh, thanks. He only managed one word before stopping, not saying more. She teased, huh? Were you going to say something? Min sat cross-legged beside her, nonchalant. Nothing. Looking at her coughing beside him, he thought, I was about to say. Then he remembered her words from that night. But I have no intention of harming you. If those words weren't a lie, he then thought of her cheerful demeanor when she said, if you die, I'll be very sad. Min told himself, maybe I can believe her once. Life is just like that. The food tray fell to the ground. The person beside him suddenly collapsed. Tukins rolled on the floor. His eyes widened in horror, watching Biam anxiously call out, hey, are you okay? Wake up. Looking at the black-haired girl lying there trembling, Biam frowned. The situation doesn't look good. We need medicine, but we don't have that medicine here. We have to go to the surface to find it. She struggled to speak. Then don't bother. There's no need to risk going up there to find it for me. Biam comforted, don't talk anymore. If you don't have medicine, your life will be in danger. Min asked, what will happen if we can't find medicine for her? Will she lose her life? Biam hesitated. Well, that's... Just then, the blond man standing at the door called out, hey, doctor, the leader is calling you. He warily noticed Min's stare, let out a breath, and held Min's photo to his chest, silently complaining, I don't understand what the leader is thinking. Why do I always have to hold this photo in front of that kid? Even without this photo, controlling this kid would be simple. The blond man repeated, the leader said you should go over there and treat him. Hurry up. Biam hesitated. But I can't go over there right now. He glared. What? Are you disobeying the leader's orders? Biam explained, it's not that. After I treat this girl, I'll go over there. Her situation is very critical right now. The black-haired girl stood up, not wanting others to be implicated because of her. It's okay. I know where the medicine I need is. I'll go find it myself. Seeing her covering her mouth, coughing incessantly, Biam didn't believe her. What are you saying? In your condition, you're going to find medicine yourself? Let me go with you. The blond man's face darkened. What's going on? She's already sick beyond saving. Why didn't you say so earlier? Wouldn't this be simpler? As soon as he finished speaking, he pulled out the knife from his belt and stabbed her once in the stomach. Everyone was stunned, unable to believe what they had just seen. Min's eyes widened, staring at the bloody knife being pulled out. The girl he had just been talking to fell to the ground. Everyone stared in horror as blood spread from her body, more and more. The bloodstain reached a pair of bare feet. Min's eyes widened, his whole body motionless, his blue pupils as if seeing the warm, beating heart in the chest of the person on the ground gradually weaken. Right now, I can feel her life fading away. The blood flowed more and more. His face showed a hint of bewilderment, wondering, why can a human die so easily? The bright spot on her chest grew smaller and smaller, then turned into blue threads of life. A bloody finger poked his calf. Min's eyes widened, looking down at the person on the ground, who whispered, why do you look so serious? It's nothing. Her mouth smiled. Nothing's wrong. Min opened his mouth, but couldn't utter a word. The bloodstained hand went limp, leaving a red streak on his calf. Everyone's face showed pity. Biam cursed, damn it. The culprit frowned, looking at the blood on his hand with disdain. You really dirted my hands. Biam, trembling with anger, knelt down. How can you kill someone and still say something like that? It's not just those monsters on the surface that are called monsters. There's no shortage of monsters like that here, too. The blond man raised the bloody knife. You talk too much, old man. I just saved you. If that girl had gone to the surface and you insisted on following her, wouldn't you have died? How could I let you take such a risk? Therefore, you should be thanking me. It's better for that girl to die here than to go up there and become bait for the monsters. He glanced at Min, who was cowering, his whole body dark, and sneered. What? Only now you're scared. Min turned, his voice low and somber. Aren't you holding my photo? His blue pupils lit up, staring at the bloody blade. Only then did the blond man remember, turning his head to glance at the photo, lying innocently on the ground. Oh, when I was holding the knife earlier, I must have dropped it. He bent down. He smirked, turning back. So what? Seeing the killing intent radiating from Min, but relying on the knife in his hand, he was still contemptuous. Are you going to? As he spoke, he blinked. In that blink, Min had moved. Just as he opened his mouth to finish the sentence, attack me. With lightning speed, Min's face was enlarged, right up close, fiercely replying, correct. He used a headbutt, smashing into his face, sending the knife in his hand flying. While everyone was still astonished, Min had already landed and punched the blond man in the face again, sending him spinning several times in the air. Min leaped after him, punching him one more time, feeling as if his head was about to come off his neck. He tightly grabbed the blond man's collar, pulling him up. A series of movements flowed smoothly and quickly. The blade, not yet touching the ground, was caught by his other hand, twirling it before everyone's terrified eyes, then pressed straight against his throat, drawing blood. Min's eyes seemed to want to destroy everything, but in the end he changed to holding the blade to his throat. Min gritted his teeth, his hand clutching his shirt trembling, blaming himself. This guy is too weak. Even when attacked, he didn't react at all. Damn it. If I'd known he was so weak, I would have snatched the photo from the beginning. He lifted him by the collar like a chicken, revealing the red stain on his own calf. If that were the case, that probably wouldn't have happened. The knife point was again at his throat. Min's blue pupils flashed with a deadly red light. His father's words seemed to echo, supporting him. That's right. Kill him. Min's face contorted with dark veins. His father's words relentlessly urged. Towards those who are weak and have no ability to resist, don't show pity. Just finish off those weaklings without mercy. The deadly red light had completely overwhelmed the blue in his eyes. Just as he was about to strike, someone stopped him. Stop! Min slowly turned. The other person slowly approached. It was Biam. He advised, once you kill someone, you can never turn back. Min muttered, can't turn back anymore? His pupils, purely blue. He turned back. Are you talking to this bastard? Biam shouted, no. I mean, your kind heart will be tainted. Min was stunned. What? Biam clenched his fist. Think again. You don't necessarily have to kill him, right? Min looked down at the knife in his hand, reflecting his eyes, then looked up and asked, so you think I don't necessarily have to kill him? He had discussed this with his father before. If I beat him half to death, disabling his ability to attack, he won't be able to attack me anymore. At that time, his father had laughed loudly. With that weak thought of yours, you'll die. Don't be afraid, just act. Are you afraid of killing people? Min retorted, don't misunderstand. I will never become a crazy person like you. Do you understand? Even if the apocalypse happens as you said, I will survive. There will never be a time when I kill people just because I don't like them. But just now, when he saw the blonde man stab his friend right before his eyes, he had almost become the kind of person he had always hated. The bloodstained knife fell to the ground. Biam was overjoyed. So you thought it through, right? Min replied, it's not because of what you said that I stopped. It's because if I kill him, I'll become like him. And now, I have no reason to kill him anymore. Thinking of the blue-haired girl's smile, his voice grew colder. Whether other people live or die has nothing to do with me. He then thought of the garden with the strange flowers. Anyway, whether I kill him or let him live has nothing to do with finding Mom. Therefore, things that don't concern me. Another man took advantage of Min's distraction and tried a sneak attack from behind. He doesn't have the knife anymore. The wooden club came down. Min didn't even turn his head, pulling the blonde man to block the blow, then also gave the attacker a punch, sending him flying several rounds before falling at the feet of the remaining man. This man, knowing his place, bowed his head and picked up the photo. Min's whole body radiated killing intent again. What do you think you're doing? He held up the photo. This is your precious photo, right? Bare feet slowly approached. Min's voice was cold as he asked again, what do you want? He stood motionless, then took out a cloth and wiped the dirt off the photo, offering it. Nothing at all. Take it and keep it carefully. His hand, holding the photo, trembled. Everyone in the room also held their breath, waiting. The black-haired girl's body was wrapped in a blanket. People stood around, commemorating. Min's eyes were wide open, showing no emotion. Suddenly, he looked around in alarm. But it seems that little girl isn't here anymore. Where did she go? The man with glasses replied. It seems she said she was going to the restroom. But it's okay. This way, she doesn't have to see a scene like this. Suddenly, someone called out, startling him. Hey, wait a minute, kid. The pot-bellied uncle criticized. At first, you could have easily taken down that guy. Why were you so quiet? Min explained, because an important item of mine was kept by him. The fat man frowned. Is it that photo? Is it that important? Min yelled back. Of course it's important, making the other turn pale and not dare to say anything more. Looking at the photo in his hand, Min spoke up. By the way, I have something I want to ask everyone. Everyone focused on the photo. The most common answer he received was, I can't think of anything. This is the first time I've seen the flower in this photo. The girl with glasses asked further, where was this photo taken? He replied, I don't know. That's why I'm asking everyone. The man with glasses suggested, maybe if you search online, you might find out where it is, but in this situation, that's a bit difficult to do. Biam wondered, but why do you want to know that place? Min stated his intention. Of course it's important to me. I'm going to that place. Hearing this, all three were horrified. Biam advised, you already know, the surface is full of monsters now. Even if you find that place, will you be able to get there safely? Min replied confidently, definitely. Don't worry, I can survive. His confident attitude made everyone disbelieve him. He clenched the photo. Anyway, I still hope someone recognizes this place, so I can go there. At this moment, the boss, standing at the door, spoke up. I didn't think things would turn out like this. That kid, he couldn't even do such a simple thing. Min glanced back at him. He rolled up his sleeves. But it's okay. It's come to this. There's no other way. Min carefully put the photo in his pocket. The two sides stared at each other. He declared, I'll just have to use force with you, kid. Outside, under the glaring sun, in an alley, a monster suddenly appeared. It sniffed the ground, then used its two front legs to dig deep. Beneath that thick layer of earth was the subway tunnel. In the subway corridor, paper and firewood were stuffed under a pot. Is there enough firewood? It's really tiring. Only now do we have enough utensils to cook. A match was struck, igniting the flammable materials. The fire flared up. Haru listened to them talk. The fire's lit. Quick, blow on it to make it burn bigger. I'm busy. Do it yourself. Don't order anyone around. The little girl, her face scrunched up, walked over. Haru glanced at her. You're back. The little girl frowned, complaining. Sister, everyone here seems so strange, don't they? They go to the restroom and don't even flush the toilet. It's so dirty. Haru, flustered, explained. That everyone is busy with many things, so they forget, dear. And it seems the water pipes are broken too, or something. Wait a moment, okay? A man with a turban on his head approached. Don't go alone. It's too late. Let me take you back to your resting place. Haru glared at him. He explained, Now, I'm not doing anything. Everywhere here is dangerous now. Even if I have intentions, I just hope you're safe. Someone watching the stove looked over. Those kids over there seem to be arguing or something. It's really tiring. What time is it now to still be arguing? Something just fell into the pot. Both of them craned their necks to look inside, asking each other, Hey, what did you just put in the pot? The person beside him replied, All right, just stir it. Don't ask random questions. I didn't put anything in. He was skeptical. What is it? Or am I mistaken? As soon as he finished speaking, countless rocks and dirt fell from above, right into the soup pot. He screamed, Oh God. Then he tilted his head up to verify. What is that? Why are rocks falling from the ceiling? He only saw that the ceiling was severely cracked, revealing a large hole with yellow specks of light. A monster's head, full of teeth, poked out. Over here, Min was face to face with the boss. He narrated, In a post-apocalyptic world I live in, there are many cold-blooded people. To survive, they do anything, regardless. You could say their evil nature is no different from monsters. These things in the normal world would be beyond the pale, but in this post-apocalypse, such people are not strange at all. Now that monsters exist and move on the surface, everyone has to do everything for their lives. The subordinate behind warned, Boss, be careful. That kid seems quite strong. He was immediately kicked by the boss, rolling on the ground. Talking so much is useless. What needs to be done now is to take down this little brat to restore order. He confidently stepped forward. All right, looking at you, I understand you want to oppose me. Let me show you who the leader is here. He smirked. Currently, in this situation, aiming for your big, round eyes, all human nature will be exposed with nothing hidden. He focused, looking deep into those deep blue eyes, only to see pitch black. His pupils widened in shock. Not good. I was wrong. It's not that I'm the hunter. I'm actually the prey being watched by the hunter. His pupils contracted in fear. He put himself in the opponent's sights. He's the hunter, with those terrifying eyes and a mouth that looks like it wants to swallow me whole. At this moment, the boss felt as if he had just stepped into the other's wide-open, fang mouth. He jolted awake from the terrifying scene, collapsing to the ground, his face pale. The blue-haired girl beside him, confused, called out, Boss. But he still hadn't escaped the predatory gaze of the brat before him. The mental pressure of those eyes was too great. He couldn't resist it in any way. He involuntarily broke out in a cold sweat. How terrifying. If I had gone a little further, I might have lost my life. The onlookers gaped, not understanding why this guy was defeated before even fighting. The blue-haired girl gritted her teeth, not understanding why the boss would act so scared in front of that kid. Outside, someone shouted loudly, running in. People looked out and only saw a person panting heavily, staggering in. Help me, everyone. His whole body was covered in blood. My eyes. I can't see anything right now. The boss looked closely. The blue-haired girl was horrified. Blood. It's blood. What happened? The others held their breath, listening. I don't know. I was sleeping. Then suddenly, he clutched his head. Why has my head been hurting like this? He reached behind him and was shocked to touch a creature clinging tightly to the nape of his neck. Someone cried out in horror. That's a monster. The other man put both hands behind his head, trying to pull the thing off. What is this? There's something on the back of my head. Someone help me get off. He suddenly stood still, motionless. Then his body began to shake violently. Everyone was terrified, not daring to move. The man's glasses cracked. The monster's tentacles shot out from his eye sockets, stabbing straight into the heart of the young man opposite him. Amidst the noise, it's a monster. The boss reached out, grabbed the tentacle, pulled hard, and then punched both the man and the monster away. Seeing it crawl out, the boss grabbed an axe. At the same time, the monster had grown larger, shaped like a vine root. He didn't hesitate, throwing the axe blade forward. Before the monster could attack, the boss had swung the axe, chopping it into hundreds of pieces. The room fell silent as a tomb, witnessing this scene. Someone spoke up. It seems like it's dead. That monster was killed by the boss. He panted, his eyes worried. This monster, I don't understand where it came from. He heard a strange sound in his ear. Amidst everyone's joy. Thank goodness. I thought we were going to die. Now we're alive. That strange sound grew closer and closer. Min had also recognized that sound, his expression serious. But those blockheads kept cheering. The boss saved us. I've always believed in the boss from the beginning. A monster kicked through the ventilation shaft from the ceiling and fell. The ventilation door slammed to the ground. Everyone in the room froze. The monster lumbered to its feet. Everyone stared wide-eyed at the large, shaggy monster with its protruding skeleton that had fallen from the sky, standing there. It seems that because everyone has lived underground for so long, they seem to have forgotten all fear. Sweat dripped down. Someone's glasses were askew, and they forgot to adjust them, muttering, "Oh, God." Or to be more precise, everyone had forgotten the horrifying memory of when they had to face a monster. The fear in their subconscious made them drop their weapons, pushing each other to flee. Seeing this cowardly crowd, the boss gritted his teeth and growled, "Everyone fight. Take it down." The crowd was blocked at the door by the boss, preventing their escape. How long are you going to be scared and run away like this? How long will these things repeat? No one answered, just pointed towards the monster. He asserted, right now, there's only one monster here. It can be defeated. We're much different from before. If we work together, we can do it. The group looked back at the giant monster, their fear somewhat diminished. Perhaps they had witnessed him defeat a monster earlier, so the fear that had always existed within them had been shaken by his provocative words. One person responded, we can do it. We can take it down. We just saw the boss take down that monster. Another also agreed. Anyway, even if we run, we don't know where to run anymore. Someone picked up a weapon that had just fallen. The boss is right. The blue-haired girl, standing with the two, who had just spoken, was filled with fighting spirit. We have to use our strength to take down that monster. Others seemed to gain strength, their eyes showing a will to resist. At that moment, they bravely faced this truth. From now on, the monsters were no longer their fear. Actually, this was the first time they had faced a monster with such determination, a determination to confront without fear, and they had gained hope. The boss made a strange sound. The blue-haired girl urged, boss, give the order to everyone. His eyes bulged, his nose bleeding. The others, who had just gained a bit of morale, were immediately shattered by this sight. Be boss. The boss's head lolled to one side, the axe falling to the ground, his feet dangling in the air. The monster that had been chopped to pieces earlier was nowhere to be seen. A tentacle slowly emerged from his mouth, wriggling. The vine monster had, at some unknown point, attacked the boss from behind. The others were horrified. No way. The boss was killed by the monster? How could this be? Their eyes widened as if their faith had crumbled, watching the monster grow larger and larger. The blue-haired girl, horrified, cried, it's regenerating. Those monsters, they don't die. If that was the case, the whole group trembled like leaves, looking at the giant monster before them. We'll never be able to defeat it. A few more monsters burst through the wall, charging in. A man closest to them was cut by the creature's arm, his head flying off. A girl, clutching a wooden plank, stared blankly at the head with its still open eyes tumbling through the air. Another monster rushed forward with its fanged mouth towards the blonde man. Oh God, wait. The rest of his words were swallowed by the monster. Only a stump of his arm remained. The other girl was held fast by the monster's skeletal frame, struggling. Let me go. Those bones tightened. The monster bent slightly and devoured her body. The hole in its back spewed a bright red liquid like rain, splattering everywhere, soon dyeing the room red. Terrifying fear enveloped all the remaining people. The scene was one of utter death and chaos. Men stood still, witnessing it all. The remaining people in the room screamed desperately. The fat man worried, this isn't good. Those monsters, they can kill us. It's just a matter of time. The man with glasses remembered the little girl, his face filled with bewildered fear, about to run off to find her when BM grabbed his arm, stopping him. What do you think you're doing? He yelled, let me go. The little ones are still out there. We need to find them. BM's face was dazed. But if the monsters came down here from the tunnel entrance, then maybe the little ones up there. This thought made the man with glasses collapse to his knees. No way. He clutched his head in anguish. Why is everything like this? A figure rushed past him. He looked up. Hey kid, wait, where are you going? But Min didn't stop, still heading towards that bloody corridor, making everyone gasp. BM quickly ran up, intending to stop him, but it was too late. Min had already blended into that scene of death and chaos. Everyone in the room watched him, his eyes resolutely moving forward. Up here, the monster was lying sprawled on the corpse of a man. 3 people hid under a cabinet. The little girl, terrified, tears streaming down her face, cried, Sister. Haru made a SHHH gesture. Don't make a sound. You'll give us away. This made the little girl stop crying immediately. Haru, trembling, looked at the little girl. I'm sorry, but right now, I don't have time to care about anyone else. Her hands clenched to stop them from shaking. I hid here during the chaos, but if it catches me, I'm dead. Haru bent down, looking for a way to escape. The little girl reached out, her trembling arm grabbing Haru's clothes. Bowing her head silently, Haru looked, then looked again, about to say something but stopped, just tightly holding the little girl's hand and instructing, stay close to me. Looking at her blood-soaked friend on the ground, the other man, still not over his shock, asked softly, What are you kids planning to do? Haru replied, What do you mean? We have to run. He asked again, Run where? There's nowhere left to run. Haru said firmly, Whether there's a place to run to or not doesn't matter, as long as we can survive. He looked at her mockingly. There are monsters on the surface, and now even our safe haven has been taken over by them, and you still think we can survive? Haru was not discouraged by these words. Even so, I can't just sit still and wait for death. I will survive, no matter what happens. He was won over by her reasoning. Your eyes? I understand. You have a reason to survive. Haru's eyes widened as she looked out. There was a monster with only a round mouth, staring intently at the 3 of them. The man, terrified, screamed, Run. His gaze then fell on the girl beside him, trembling with fear. He gritted his teeth, mustered all his courage, rushed out, and held the monster's mouth shut, yelling, Get a grip and run. I don't have any reason to live anymore, but you. Just as he was saying these sentimental words and turning back to their previous hiding spot, there was no one left there. Looking out, he saw Haru pulling the little girl, running like the wind. He was a bit disappointed. Wait, you ran so fast. You should have waited to hear what I had to say. The monster's mouth lit up, followed by the man's terrible scream. Haru kept her head down and ran straight, not daring to look back. Down here, although they had just experienced a horrific scene, the will to resist had been ignited and was not easily extinguished. The brown-haired subordinate and the blue-haired girl relentlessly attacked the monster with axes and knives. The more she stabbed, the more bewildered her expression became. Why? Looking at its body, riddled with wounds, gradually healing automatically, she muttered, still watching her comrade, who was using his hammer, easily subdued by the monster with one hand. She despaired, collapsing to the ground. Damn it, we can't win. Just then, Min, without a word, walked past her towards the monsters, making the others gasp. What's wrong with him? Where's he going? The vine monster was wriggling, piercing through 2 or 3 people at once. Seeing him approach, it stopped, dropping the others, only holding onto the first body it was parasitizing. Min crouched, ready to fight. The blue-haired girl guessed. Could it be that he's planning to fight it? That's no different from suicide. Even the leader couldn't kill that monster. Before the monster's reaching tentacles, Min observed, dodged, and grabbed 2 of its tentacles, immobilizing them. He moved nimbly, avoiding the others that were lunging, circling and flipping, step by step getting closer to the monster while tying all its tentacles into a tangled mess, rendering it unable to attack. He reached behind it, forcefully yanking its white-fanged head off the boss's back. Biam was shocked. Did he defeat that monster? The blue-haired girl still didn't believe it. But nothing has changed. The leader defeated it before, too. The vine-bodied monster opened its strong-toothed maw and shrieked. Receiving the signal, the giant monster turned back, both of them targeting Min alone. One charged. Min threw the vine-bodied monster aside and stood still, waiting for it to approach. When its fanged mouth opened, he kneed it, forcing it shut. He ducked, avoiding its arm, escaped its expanding skeletal frame, leaped high, circled behind the monster, aimed for the axe embedded in its body, and pulled it out. A red liquid spurted from the hole in its back, distracting him. Its elbow immediately shot towards his eye. The development was too intense, making Biam and the blue-haired girl watch nervously, not blinking. The white dust cleared. Min, holding the axe, squatted there. Biam stammered. Is he still alive? The blue-haired girl kept muttering, impossible. How could he have survived that? The others who witnessed this unbelievable scene were equally stunned. The monsters had overwhelming strength and could continuously regenerate wounds at dizzying speeds. Fighting such creatures was no different from suicide. However, right before their eyes, a boy had stood up and fought alone. Min panted, clutching his injured arm, remembering his father's lesson. Every creature in this world cannot escape death. Any creature, whether it's a wild beast, a human, or plants and flowers, they all definitely have a source of life. The group was terrified to see the monster had fully healed and was attacking again. Kill that source of life. In Min's eyes, each source of life carried a dazzling light, like a petal. If it carries the life source of the entire flower, it will shine among the other petals. So, if it's you, you'll know where their life source is. He held the axe and charged straight at the other 2 monsters. Before their simultaneous attacks, he dodged, somersaulting in the air, observing from top to bottom to find their life source and how to destroy their life seed. Their growth is like something originating from a nucleus deep underground. To destroy them, you just need to find that nucleus, strike it accurately with a hammer, and then dig out that yellow energy life source, and the monsters will be like withered plants, unable to regenerate. He threw the tangled mess from his axe blade to the ground, let out a breath, and silently watched that life light extinguish. The battle ended. Everyone was astonished by the result. The monster was killed. In the corridor, the little girl, crying, ran with all her might, not forgetting to glance back at the monster chasing closely behind her, fearfully calling, "Sister!" Haru, terrified, didn't dare to slack off, looking back at the little girl she was pulling behind her, even for a moment, running as fast as she could, her eyes showing an intense desire to live. At a bend, a monster was hiding behind a wall, waiting. As Haru ran up, the monster lunged. She took a running leap over it, looked back at the large monster holding 2 human legs, her eyes widening in fear. They seemed to curl up, making her vision suddenly darken. Haru tried to regain her composure to escape the dizziness. To Biam's astonished eyes, Haru returned alone to the room, panting heavily. Biam, surprised, asked, "Huh? You're still alive? And it seems you're not injured anywhere. So lucky." The man with glasses stepped forward, looking at her intently. "But wait, the little one you took with you, where is she?" This barrage of questions made Haru kneel on the ground. Everyone was drawn by the terrified cries. The little girl stood alone, forlorn and scared, in the long corridor, crying and calling out loudly, "Sister, wait for me." She inched her red shoes forward bit by bit. The man with glasses saw the little girl he was looking for and was about to go forward, but his eyes widened with hesitation when he saw a monster right behind her, closing in. He ran quickly, while Haru could only watch the little girl with eyes full of remorse because she had no power. Just as the tentacles were about to reach the little girl's head, Feather Duster, his eyes blazing, leaped from behind, grabbed the little girl, and slid far away, quickly standing to face the monster. Feather Duster raised his empty hands, ready to die fighting it. "You damn monster! If you're so good, come here. Go away." It actually disappeared, which surprised him. "Oh hey, it was too scared of me." BM spoke up. "Unfortunately, it's not as you think. You made it here without noticing?" Remembering Min killing the monster, he explained, "The reason we're still alive now is because a monster opened its mouth to bite, but Min hit it in the head, taking its life seed, and it died on the spot." Min bowed his head, panting. "That's the second one." But then another monster attacked him. He leaned to avoid it, his head hanging down, facing two monsters, hesitating. Now 2 more have appeared. If it goes on like this, it'll be too difficult. If they keep appearing continuously like this, how can I defeat them all? If they didn't recover and more didn't appear, I would have defeated them already. Now I have to face 3 monsters, and there's no more terrain to take advantage of. They've completely surrounded me. If I make even a slight mistake, I'll definitely lose my life immediately. Then this place will be overrun by them, everyone killed. I've also fought quite a bit, and I'm tired. Dragging out the fight will only make me lose faster. Or should I just run away? If I can't fight back, the only way is to run. I can find another hiding place to avoid the monsters. But if I'm not here, these people will definitely die. And what do they have to do with me? I have no reason to protect them. Everyone in this apocalyptic situation has to be wary of each other. That's the unchangeable rule. But when he thought of the black-haired girl's smile, his eyes wavered, unable to abandon the people here. Behind him, a monster lunged with its sharp claws. Not good. I was too careless. Even though he used his fastest speed to dodge, his back was still scratched by its large claws. He rolled a few times on the ground, his whole body trembling in pain. The torn part of his shirt revealed the scratch. The monster stepped closer. He was worried, not knowing how to fight, when a pair of high boots blocked his view. Feather Duster, carrying a wooden pestle, stood protectively in front. He got straight to the point. "I've heard everyone talking. You know how to defeat these monsters and make them unable to recover, right? Then look up at this." Strange named person. Feather Duster smirked, his eyes rebellious, and concluded, "All right, then tell me. I'll help you." The young man with glasses, holding a manhole cover as a weapon, stepped forward. "I'll help too." He wanted to be stronger so he could protect the little girl. Min was very surprised. "Help? Everyone helping me? This isn't right with what Father taught." He wondered why. "Humans are enemies. There's no reason for you to help me." "Of course." Feather Duster turned back and replied, "To survive." Min's eyes widened with suspicion. "What?" The young man with glasses added, "Just as I said. If something happens to you with those monsters, we're dead for sure." Therefore, he extended his hand towards Min, wanting to unite, but Min didn't understand the meaning of this action. After a moment of daze, looking from the hand to his face, Min stood up on his own, with the thought deeply ingrained during his confinement: cannot trust humans. They can do anything to survive. But precisely because of that, let's attract the use of this from the people here. As long as we have the common goal of survival, they will have no reason to betray me. The 3 stood on the same battle line, facing the approaching monster. Feather Duster's face was excited. "It's coming." Min lowered his head. "The wound. I probably have to end this as quickly as possible." He dashed past the monster, making it bewildered, and immediately got hit in the head with a club. Feather Duster teased, "Were you looking? Your opponent is over here." Min's target was the monster with a round head like a flower bud. First, that monster. In the middle of the monster's circle, it reddened and bulged out. Min warily observed. A reddish-orange mass was shot out with strong velocity. Min knelt, lowering his body to dodge. The axe blade, upon impact with the orange mass, immediately melted. He continued to run forward, while it continuously shot out orange spheres with lava-like heat. Min, while dodging, step by step approached the monster. At a reasonable distance, as he was about to swing the axe, it raised its legs to attack. Min leaned to dodge, simultaneously identifying the weak point here. He launched a decisive blow, but missed because it dodged. Then the monster also spat out an orange mass to attack. Damn it, too close. Min was panicking because there was no way to dodge, when a hand pushed him hard in the chest, knocking him aside. The man with glasses, holding a thick iron shield, blocked it. The part of the shield in contact with the red substance also melted very quickly. Min had regained his composure. Just as the monster was preparing for its next shot, he rushed to attack. Inside, BM stood still, muttering, "I want to help, but I'll just get in the way, huh?" The girl with glasses beside him was in the same state. Me too. The vine monster had regenerated and was now blocking the doorway. Everyone in the room stood frozen in fear. The blue-haired girl, holding a knife, bravely stepped forward, her whole body trembling, muttering, Sir, leader." She intended to kill it to avenge the boss. The round-headed monster had turned into threads under Min's axe. The man with glasses turned and asked, "Are you okay?" Feather Duster's eyes lit up when he saw the giant monster was now just a fist-sized, black, round lump. "So this is what happens when you kill monster? How'd you do that?" I don't want to keep running away either. Seeing the other approach, Min leaned slightly and replied, they have weak points. Aim for those and attack. Looking at the two monsters in the distance, Feathered Duster asked again, how do you find weak points? He replied, focus and you'll see. Feathered Duster's eyes lit up with understanding. It's the head. Just hit them in the head to kill them. Min loudly corrected, no, I don't know either. But if only you can find a monster's weak points, then we only have one thing to do. Feathered Duster and the man with glasses, while speaking, stepped forward. We'll lure them to attack, so you can aim for their openings. But Feathered Duster, more battle-hungry, had already rushed forward. What? I'll kill monsters too. The man with glasses admired. Wow, so brave. The two ran ahead, each luring a monster. Min ran up behind. It's definitely much easier to fight than before. Humans, they helped me. If this had happened before, it would have been unimaginable. Facing the monster that was swinging its arm to attack, Feathered Duster raised his club defiantly. All right, come here. The situation was dangerous. Min yelled a warning. Wait, wait. But it was too late because his club had broken in two. Feathered Duster was knocked to the ground. Min scolded. You should have dodged. But the humans here are too weak. If I don't end this quickly, they'll die. The man with glasses was cornered by the monster against the wall. Just as it raised its arm to attack, Min struck it with an axe from behind, turning it into a tangled mess. The flat-headed monster was running this way. Now, there's only one left. Just need to deal with it. Wait. Only now did he notice. It seems there's another monster. Oh god, it's the vine monster from before. I only pulled it off its host, I didn't kill it. Over here, the blue-haired girl had been killed by the vine monster. Now its tentacles were tightly wrapped around her entire body. Oh god, Haru, terrified, collapsed to the ground. The monster bared its teeth, its tentacles digging deeper into the prey's body. All the blood was quickly sucked dry. The monster's body wriggled, expanded, and grew larger. It stood up on two legs, staring at Haru, who was sitting on the ground. Haru looked at its ferocious appearance, closed her eyes, and resigned herself to death. But what touched her were only black threads. The monster was now just a small, round lump on the tip of Min's axe. Min, holding the axe, bent over, panting. When a monster's life seed fell to the ground, he, exhausted, collapsed beside the young man with glasses and Feathered Duster, who were also sitting and panting on this side. There were no more monsters around. He looked at the black lump before him, struggled to reach out and touch it, feeling threads like a tangled, dark skein of wool. His vision darkened, and he only vaguely heard anxious sounds. Hey, wake up! The wound is too severe. It needs to be treated immediately. In this condition, you still try to fight? Let me help. So, you hold a spot for me. When he woke up, he squinted and sat up. He saw Haru leaning against the wall, asleep, drooling, and sleep-talking. Yummy. BM was amazed. It's truly miraculous. I didn't expect you to wake up so quickly. Are you okay? I heard you slept soundly for 2 whole days. Min didn't answer, instead looking down at the bandage wrapped around his chest. This bandage, did the doctor do it? Without hesitation, he ripped it off. BM rushed over to check, horrified, and saw that the wound on his back had completely disappeared without a trace. It's completely healed. It's only been 2 days. He was secretly terrified. Such an astonishing recovery speed. I've never seen anything like it. The man with glasses, his arm bandaged, sat up. You're awake? I was so worried you wouldn't wake up. Thank goodness. I can thank you now. Thank you so much for saving us. Min turned his face away. No need to thank me. I was just saving myself. Remembering Feathered Duster's joking demeanor, he asked, by the way, the man who fought with us, did he die? Feathered Duster, who was sleeping, jumped up and yelled loudly. Don't jinx people. I may look like this, but I'm confident I'm very strong. Before he could finish boasting, he spat out a mouthful of blood. Cough, cough. The man with glasses turned to him. I also want to thank you. But why did you help us? Feathered Duster, trying to stop the gushing syrup, said, why help? I help because I want to. He immediately froze when he heard the other's suspicion. But, aren't you a bad person? Feathered Duster, bewildered, asked back, why? Why do you think so? He replied, because those fierce-looking people follow you. Feathered Duster jumped up. I have nothing to do with them. They probably just unilaterally decided I was their boss. I have no intention of joining any gang. Min silently listened to them talk. But you look very dangerous. Don't judge others by their appearance. This is style. Style? That rooster head. It's not a rooster head. It's a mohawk. Haru yawned and woke up, her eyes immediately alert when she saw Min fully recovered and sitting up. You're awake? Are you okay? Min asked. But why were you sleeping here? Unlike the others, you don't seem to be injured. Haru, as if her sore spot had been poked, loudly said, I was very worried about you. Why do you say that? I'll lie down if I want to. What's wrong with that? BM interjected. Kid, you have to thank Haru. She's been by your side taking care of you all this time. Looking at Min's detestable face, she denied, no way. Why would I do that for someone who can't even remember my name? I was just helping the doctor out of convenience. Feathered Duster looked over, pointed, and loudly reminded. Now that I remember you. I happened to see you that day. You run really fast. I've never seen anyone run as fast as you before. Watching you dodge monsters, I thought you were possessed by a ghost. Haru remembered that moment when, wanting to survive, she had let go of the little girl's small hand and felt extremely ashamed. Although no one mentioned it, she didn't dare to face everyone, silently stood up and walked away, leaving everyone bewildered. Feather Duster, confused, said, "I was praising you. Why did you react like that?" Min looked at Haru's half-hidden face, remembering the black-haired girl's plea. "All right then, doubt me if you want. But why don't you make peace with Haru?" The call Haru made her stop. Min asked, "Is that your name?" Haru softly replied, "Mm," then continued walking. Under the yellow lamp, Ji Hyen, holding a notebook, summarized, "In the end, after that attack, only 12 of us are left. In the past 2 days, we've checked the bodies and confirmed that 43 people have died. BM assessed, nearly 80% of the population in this bunker has perished. It's terrible." The girl with glasses corrected. "According to my calculations, it's exactly 78%. Ji Hyen put on a mask and continued to announce, "Anyway, when I examined the bodies, I discovered something strange. All the bodies are gray, without any color, as if they were mummies that had been dead for a long time." The purple-haired girl contributed her observation. "Everyone saw it at that time, right? Those monsters clung to the bodies and sucked something out. It must have been them that caused this condition." Hearing this, the girl with glasses screamed, "Ew, so gross." She continued, "What on earth are they? I heard they're government experimental products. I just heard it that way." The man with glasses spoke up. "I heard they suddenly appeared from the sky." Haru listened silently, accidentally meeting the little girl's gaze, and turned away in shame again. People continued to discuss. "What? Suddenly from the sky? Aren't they aliens?" The pot-bellied uncle focused his attention on another issue. Wait, there's something more important that needs to be clarified. The identity of this boy." Everyone's eyes focused on Min. What he showed us. How do you know how to kill monsters so skillfully? Min sat with his legs crossed and replied, "I was trained to prepare for the apocalypse." Looking at Min's family photo in his hand, someone still doubted. "So that photo is the only thing you brought from the bunker?" The purple-haired girl expressed her thoughts. "Honestly, with just that photo, it's hard to trust you completely, because you could easily make up anything, right? The story about you being locked in a bunker and trained your whole life, or the story that you knew the apocalypse was coming." Min sighed, believe it or not. But the purple-haired girl hesitated, remembering how easily he could finish off a monster with one swing of an axe. She represented everyone in the room and said clearly, "After witnessing what you've shown, no one here doubts you anymore." While Min was astonished, the girl with glasses suddenly attacked from the side. Seeing him lean to dodge, she pushed her glasses up and confirmed, "Oh, you really dodged it." But, seeing his somber demeanor, she fearfully quickly affirmed, "I believe you. The story about you being trained. Yes, I know. I was wrong." BM spoke up. "I also believe the boy. When I treated him, he had many scars on his body. At that age, not even a normal person could have so many scars. It's unimaginable how much pain he must have endured." Haru's eyes widened with curiosity. "Why so many scars?" Min looked at the scars all over his body. "These scars, every time I tried to escape the bunker, they increased." Haru was silent for a moment, then opened her mouth again. "It must have been very painful." "No," he replied firmly. "These scars are proof of the times I fought. I don't consider them sad memories." "I don't believe you." Min looked up at the aggressive pot-bellied uncle. "You said you knew the apocalypse was coming. So why didn't you tell anyone and kept it to yourself? If everyone had known beforehand, we could have prepared better." Min replied, "My father said humans are enemies, so he would never cooperate with them. I don't trust them either." Remembering Feather Duster and the man with glasses, though weak, still bravely facing the monsters to save him, he hesitated. "But they helped me. I don't know why my father taught me the humans are so evil, but at least they're not as bad as I thought." The purple-haired girl concluded, "Anyway, you're very important to us." Her gaze fell on the tray holding the black, round lumps left by the dead monsters. "You're the only one who can destroy the monsters." Feather Duster, holding his club, exclaimed, "If only I could also sense their weak points, then I would also go boom, zap, zap like this." Then he waved his arms and legs wildly. The man with glasses looked at him. "If we find your mother, maybe we'll get more important information about the monsters." The pot-bellied uncle again argued against it. "But what's the point of knowing about the monsters? We don't even know if we'll be alive or dead tomorrow. So far, we've been safe thanks to the entrance to the shelter being buried under rubble, which makes it harder for the monsters to find us. We have to go deep into the dark crevice of the ruined building and pass through the obstructing pile of rubble to reach the entrance. But that's not all. We're just lucky. There's no guarantee that the monsters won't suddenly attack like last time." At this moment, above, a mantis-like monster had discovered the entrance hidden under the rubble. It was standing there, staring, scouting. Feather Duster laughed optimistically. "Don't be so pessimistic. At least we still have enough food." Looking at the empty, ruined storeroom, Feather Duster turned pale. This is the food storage, right? It seems it's not anymore." The girl with glasses bent down and quickly snatched the last can of food. Everyone gathered in the corridor. BM assigned tasks. "Therefore, we need people to go to the surface to find food. Any volunteers?" Feather Duster stepped forward cheerfully. Oh, you can't do without me. I've been in the bunker for over a week, bored to death. The man with glasses stopped him. Your wound still hasn't healed completely. Let me go instead. As soon as he finished speaking, pain shot through his arm. BM spoke up, you too. Your wound still hasn't healed completely. Rest some more. It's better for someone who isn't injured to go. The girl with glasses shook her head vigorously. The pot-bellied uncle, who was aggressive when looking for trouble, was like a turtle retreating into its shell when it was time to act. Going to the surface is no different from suicide. Only a fool would go. The purple-haired girl replied firmly, I agree. The man with his face completely covered crossed his arms, refusing. BM sighed. This is difficult. The remaining food is only enough for 1 week. Bare feet stepped forward. Min cracked his knuckles. Let me go. BM exclaimed, oh, if you go, we'll be very relieved. Min walked past them. Considered on the way. I want to go to the surface to meet other people to ask about the photo. Maybe we can find a safer shelter. He jumped onto the escalator handrail, looking up. But more importantly, I don't want to stay in a bunker anymore. We'll go with you. Jaeyoon and Jujin stepped forward. Jujin looked at him and expressed, sorry for not helping at all last time. I wanted to help too, but I was too scared. My limbs were trembling. But seeing you gave me more courage. We're about the same age, yet you dared to face those monsters. It's truly admirable. Ji-hyun looked at him with admiration. That's right. Even though he said he was trained, he risked his life to protect us. If it were me, I probably would have run away. BM asked again. Anyone else? His gaze fell on Haru, who was standing in the corner. Seeing the girl bow her head, trembling, he didn't ask anymore. Well then, he shouldered his backpack. Jaeyoon and Jujin smiled brightly, looking back. Ready, being stared at by 4 pairs of eyes, Min squinted, puzzled. What's wrong? Looking at his muscular upper body, Ji-hyun asked, Are you really going to go dressed like that? Or, wear this. I made this for you. The purple-haired girl handed him a shirt. Min turned back, curious. The purple-haired girl snorted coldly. It's an honor for you. I'm a top designer. Clients line up to wear clothes I design. Now all my clients are gone, so I have no choice. Looking at the new clothes in his hand, he thought of the time in the bunker. Everyone on the surface wears all sorts of beautiful clothes. Why do you keep wearing these ragged clothes, Dad? Or do you not have any other clothes? His father had led him to a wardrobe full of identical clothes. Cough, cough. Don't make such a big deal out of it. I'm the same. Now, holding different clothes in his hand, he was very excited. Wearing new clothes is one of the things I want to do when I get to the surface. Thank you. The purple-haired girl, after a moment of astonishment, pursed her lips and smiled when she heard him express, My first set of clothes was made by you. I probably won't like any other clothes from now on. Haru stepped forward. Wait, I want to ask you something. As soon as she finished speaking, Haru's face went blank when she faced the little bird because Min had quickly, right on the spot, taken off his pants. The surrounding space fell silent as a tomb. It was his first time integrating into the human world, so Min was stark naked, yet still bewildered, not understanding what he had done wrong. Therefore, Haru was motionless, her gaze not yet averted. The others also gaped, their eyes wide, not knowing what they were looking at. Haru slowly regained her reaction, her mouth agape, her face blushing beet red, her eyes squeezed shut, hitting and scolding. You pervert! Why are you attacking me like that? Haru tripped and fell, revealing a large scar on her forehead. Ji-hyun, seeing it, stammered, That wound of yours. Haru, face down on the ground. Min, bewildered, his head full of question marks, said, What's wrong with you? Get up. Haru roared. Put your pants on first. Min, blank face, thought, this is so confusing. Wearing the new clothes, long black pants and white. Turtleneck shirt. Min looked quite cool. The man with glasses, skeptical, asked, But what about the monsters? How did they know we were in the bunker in attack? BM expressed, It can't be that they found us here by luck. The girl with glasses looked at the pile of burnt firewood on the floor. Who cooked here? She picked up the lighter beside it, delighted. I found a lighter. It's mine now. Min, having just finished changing, walked past and analyzed. It's also possible that they sensed the fire here, so they attacked down here. Fire is something they're very sensitive to. The man with glasses grasped the key point. So that's what they're sensitive to. BM's eyes widened in amazement. Oh God. Min, while walking, reminded, Therefore, everyone, when you light a fire to cook, remember to be careful. Otherwise, the monsters will attack us again like before. The girl with glasses quickly stuffed the lighter into Haru's hand. I'm giving you the lighter. Then she turned and ran away. By the way, I remember this. Jian started a conversation. It seems you're a track and field athlete, right? From GA Sang Middle School, wasn't it? Haru, surprised, asked, You know me? Ji-hyun stood opposite her. That's right. No wonder you looked so familiar. Looking at your scar, when you run, that scar is revealed, so that's how I recognized you. Thinking of the large scar on her forehead, Haru silently clenched her fist. This thing doesn't look good or make me look cooler at all. This scar is proof that I'm an extremely timid person. Memories of her first day of middle school flooded back. As she silently entered the school gate, someone called out loudly, Hey Haru! Her parents in the car poked their heads out and said cheerfully, Congratulations on getting into middle school, dear. You know we love you very much, right? Her younger brother in the back also poked his head out, cheering, "Go for it, sis." Seeing she didn't turn back, her parents called out loudly again. "Huh? Honey? Haru? Didn't you hear what we said?" Other students on the road looked around, searching. Which one is Haru? Who is that? This made her even more timid, not daring to turn back, covering her head and running quickly inside, ignoring her parents who were constantly calling. Hey, where are you? Aren't you going to say goodbye to your parents before class?" Sitting in the car, her parents' expressions were sad. She seems a bit shy, doesn't she? It's true, it's upsetting. She used to be quite lively, but after that incident, she gradually became afraid of everything, even in daily activities. It was a time she was held hostage by a robber with a knife. Though terrified, she still struggled, bit the robber's hand, and ran. A stumble gave the robber a chance to catch her. The sharp blade cut, leaving a long scar on her forehead. Before losing consciousness, she saw the image of that criminal turn into terrifying black shadows that constantly followed her. When she startled awake in a hospital bed, her parents and younger brother were by her side, caring for her. "You're awake? Are you okay?" "Sis." Her father hugged her, comforting. "That person has been caught. Don't worry. Calm down." She was safe, but the obsession with that black shadow always loomed before her eyes. In class, when her friends could comfortably talk about a stain on the glass. "Look at that, it's so scary, isn't it?" She would look at the stain and associate it with that deadly black shadow. When asked, "What about you? What are you most afraid of?" She had hesitantly shared. "Fear? That death." Noticing her friend's distant reaction, she quickly changed the subject. Watching horror movies." During gym class, the teacher clicked the stopwatch, reminding, "All right, everyone line up, prepare to run." Unknowingly, she had been isolated by her classmates. The teacher's voice helped dispel her current loneliness. "Ready." After I got the scar, I felt scared of everything. The fear grew bigger when there were people around. Whenever I had to do something, I always hesitated. The starting gun sounded. Other students eagerly ran forward. She was left far behind by her classmates. When I run and jump, I get even more scared because it reminds me of the feeling of having to run away from that person.